In the Superpower Academy, our protagonist, Ning Feng, was spending his day normally playing League of Legends, and he was pretty confident in his gaming skills. But then a woman raised her hand and smacked Ning Feng's face for wasting time around like this. This woman was Ning Feng's childhood friend, Wang Yu, who didn't want him to waste his time instead of preparing for the Awakening exam sometime. Ning Feng claims playing games was just as important as working hard, and that aside, he doesn't think he'll awaken as anything more than a 1-star or 2-star profession at the age of 18. He admired his friend Wang Yu for awakening to a 5-star profession at the ideal age of 16 and joked about why he would need to worry about work when he can just rely on her. Like hell, Wang Yu would allow her best friend to become a lazy ass, and their sight of fighting made others wonder what was the genius Wang Yu doing here. There was no one who didn't know Wang Yu since she was renowned as a once-in-a-decade prodigy. However, they all thought she was just wasting her time with that average Joe guy Ning Feng, who still hasn't awakened even after turning 18, when everyone awakens at 16. Some of them recalled Wang Yu's connection with Ning Feng was that of childhood friends, which made them even more confused as Ning Feng was an orphan, while Wang Yu had a good family background. Later on, Wang Yu was sent straight to the Awakening Exam Center, where everyone was supposed to awaken their innate talents from the age of 16. Now, like every year, the teacher explained the rules and praised them as the future of their country. Ning Feng, though, wasn't all that excited and didn't get why Wang Yu was so serious about his exam. While he had gotten bored by failing twice and coming to give it a third time, students lined up for the Awakening exam in front of the Awakening Crystal. Ning Feng was getting even more bored hearing everyone hoping to awaken their desired professions. Soon it was Ning Feng's turn, and he was popular among the whole student body, but in a negative way as the one who always follows genius Wang Yu. But he hadn't yet awakened at 18 and failed the Awakening exam twice. If he fails this time, it would make his reputation go from bad to trash. Ning Feng's teacher, Kai Wei, assured him not to be nervous and instructed him to place his hand on the Awakening Crystal. However, even with Ning Feng's hand on the crystal, nothing happened for a while, making him think this time was a failure too. But right then, Ning Feng saw something in his subconscious mind while others could only see the crystal reacting to him, which means that finally even a loser like Ning Feng got awakened. Ning Feng started seeing more details about his profession, especially how many stars he'll get. Ning Feng ended up awakening just a 1-star profession with a skill called Mud Marsh Technique. Teacher Qi pitied the poor Ning Feng for awakening only 1-star profession after so long, and this event made all the other students talk trash of him even more. Teacher asked him what skill did he awaken, but due to him being zoned out, she had to call him twice. Teacher Kai thought Ning Feng must have suffered a big blow because he failed in the awakening test for 2 years, and now in 3rd year he only got a 1-star profession. She didn't want to trouble him by asking more questions, so Teacher Kye just told him to change into his uniform for the next stage of the Awakening exam. Ning Feng was still trying to process things and wanted to be sure if he heard everything about his awakening correctly. He recalled that he didn't just awaken, but also received his system, which gave him passive abilities such as Dark Homology and Arcane Gift. These passive abilities allowed him to not suffer any backlash from dark energy and to cast forbidden spells without any cost. But as far as Ning Feng knows, this dark power was called as the most evil power in the world, and for him, he never expected to use the highest level of magic forbidden spells so casually. Suddenly, he recalled that system transformed his Mud Marsh skill into a forbidden level spell, making it the Foul Earth Shell. Ning Feng started second-guessing if these abilities should even be used, and he'll find out in the upcoming practical test. Later, the teacher explained the rules of practical tests to battle the monsters in the testing realm, and familiarize themselves with their newly awakened skills. Candidates weren't allowed to team up with anyone or to attack each other, and to make sure of that, students will remain under drone's supervision. Teacher Kai told students to confirm their skills as soon as possible. Ning Feng, though, wasn't so sure about using his skill right away because it summoned his shield from dark power. He wondered if it was some evil spell which could get him in trouble if someone saw it. Students entered the training realm, while Ning Feng tried to get his system to explain dangers of his forbidden spells but failed. Students started fighting off with monsters in the training realm right away, while on the other hand, Ning Feng was hiding away from monsters because he wanted to avoid using any spells under the monitoring of drones. Meanwhile, the drones were displaying everything to the monitoring division. The examiner, Captain Zhu, was pissed off seeing a student just lazing around, while others were leveling up by killing monsters. He asked Teacher T what was he doing, then Teacher Kai explained Ning Feng's condition. That kid only awakened relatively late and wasn't in good health, on top of which he had only a defensive spell which wasn't suitable for a solo combat. Captain Zhao suggested there was no need for that kid to continue the exam then, since he can't even become a real adventurer with just 1-star profession. Just then, one of the guys from the monitoring team reported one of the drone's feed was cut off after an attack, and unusually, there were a few high power fluctuations found in the realm. Captain Zhu immediately asked everyone to go and find out what's going on. On the other hand, the place where that drone was destroyed, a kid was scared to death after confronting powerful monsters, which shouldn't be here in the exam venue. A monster goblin in the hood seemed to be leading the other goblins, and he ordered everyone to kill all the humans in this area. This site was captured by a drone, then the superior goblin shot it down to remove eyes on them. However, the drone ended up falling on Ning Feng, who was hiding behind the bushes. He made sounds in pain, which resulted in him being surrounded by goblins from all angles. The superior goblin thought of Ning Feng as a small bug, while Ning Feng was trying to process what a high-level goblin was doing here. But the good news was the drone wasn't watching him anymore, so Ning Feng took this great opportunity to test out his forbidden skill. Ning Feng activated his skill, and suddenly the goblins were left terrified by the amount of dark energy unleashed by Ning Feng. The insurmountable dark energy spread wide enough to break all the contacts of Monitoring Division, and they couldn't fathom how there could be so much dark energy out there in the training grounds, equaling to level king threat. They quickly called for reinforcements, and the teacher, Kai, was worried, as a king-level threat basically means a disaster capable of destroying a city, whereas the High Goblin was scared for his life as Ning Feng's dark spell began to devour the very souls of monsters one by one. Ning Feng found the dark magic a bit scary himself, but compared to the speed of gaining experience points from defeating monsters, it was really efficient. The High Goblin couldn't believe how a human was able to control such power of darkness, and before he noticed, his movements got immobilized and the monster couldn't escape the grasp of dark magic, ending up absorbing him along with others the same. The High Goblin gave Ning Feng 6,000 experience points, which was 600 times more than the usual goblins. After the slaughter, Ning Feng's level jumped straight to level 10, which was a significant growth compared to students every year gaining only 1 or 2 levels at most in the training realm. However, even though Ning Feng was glad from the experience points gained from that elite goblin, he still pondered over how a monster that strong appeared in this exam venue. Ning Feng looked at the drops from defeating that monster, and both of the item drops were orange quality items, which were equivalent to rank items. These items provided one the permanent attributes, such as the Vanguard mark with plus 10 agility, and the other one was a claw weapon. Ning Feng figured since he couldn't use it for himself, he could still sell it for a lot of money. Ning Feng was amazed about finally getting his chance to become strong and rich by killing monsters. Right then, an announcement was made to students to abandon the test and teleport outside right away. Ning Feng was about to do that, but suddenly his dark energy started spreading around him, making him realize the reason why it was a forbidden skill. The dark energy traps were left on the places where he killed the monsters before. Ning Feng figured he should quickly get out of here, so he used the teleportation scroll right away to avoid being seen by anyone. Just like him, all the other students made it out safely, and Ning Feng managed to slip away without being found out. The examiner told the students to not stay here and immediately return back to the city. He knew that even if all the students here teamed up, then wouldn't even come close to facing that king-level threat there, so they don't have any other option than waiting for reinforcements. But to his surprise, the dark energy from within the realm faded like it never existed, and it raised the suspicions if that demon with dark energy somehow escaped outside the realm. His guess wasn't wrong, but the examiner had no way to know that Ning Feng was the source of that dark power. Teacher Tsai immediately ordered the security to seal off all the school's premises and only let the unrelated students to evacuate outside. Ning Feng asked Teacher Tsai what happened, but the purple head Weifu innocently asked him if it was okay. Ning Feng just nodded and was told to hurry up and leave the school immediately, after which the school was suspended temporarily and students were informed not to come back until further announcement. Ning Feng went to his childhood friend Wang Yu and told her there seems to be a problem going on in school. Wang Yu already heard of the school being sealed off due to some unknown power, but Ning Feng couldn't figure out if that power was that elite monster or the dark energy. Either way, Wang Yu thought Ning Feng must be bothered after enduring for so long only to have the exam interrupted. She then told him since he was a defensive spell user, he should join her team to level up starting tomorrow. Ning Feng thanked her for kindness but boasted he could handle his leveling up on his own. Ning Feng was actually planning to go solo since he could only use dark forbidden spells, which can't be used casually in front of others and might scare off Wang Yu. Wang Yu, on the other hand, thought he was lazing around again, so she sold him and made it clear he can't refuse it, and no matter what he will have to come by 8 tomorrow morning at the West Gate. Ning Feng tried to turn her down, but she just walked away, leaving him all troubled by her autocratic nature. Ning Feng started considering if he should call it off saying he was sick, but as far as he knows Wang Yu, he can't avoid her, and he might have to use his last resort. After that, Ning Feng went to the Yuan Cheng Exchange Company to buy some equipment which had skills attached to them. This way, he might be able to pretend he was using skills while avoiding the forbidden skills. He hoped that his system won't turn even the skills of his equipment into a forbidden one, and aside from that, he also planned to sell some of the loot he gained before. Upon his entry, he was greeted by a bold-dressed lady, and she asked him how she could assist him. Ning Feng started to purchase an item with more spell attached, and it couldn't be anything from weapons, clothing, or accessories. The attendant suggested that since he was a newly awakened student, why don't he just buy other high-level spell items unlike the low-level Meyer spell one? Ning Feng just mentioned he needed it temporarily, so he was fine without a high-level item. The attendant called out another attendant who had recently joined the exchange firm and ordered her to handle Ning Feng since she didn't want to waste her time on a poor guy. Ning Feng didn't like the attitude she showed, and just then the new attendant arrived and asked him how she could help him. Ning Feng told her the details, and this attendant was kind enough to patiently show him around different items, while Ning Feng tried them out one by one to find a suitable one. In the end, he finally found a ring that suited his requirement, and he thanked the attendant for accompanying him to so many items. He then asked her where he could sell his loot, and the attendant politely took him to the appraisal consignment, where the loot for selling was appraised and traded. The manager was a rude man, and the attendant informed the master Winston that Ning Feng here wanted to sell his loot. Ning Feng showed his orange-level item clause to him for appraisal and asked for its value. Master Winston was amazed at witnessing a real orange-level item with low-level requirements and high attributes boost, which would sell really quick. He asked Ning Feng what price he was expecting for it, to which he just replied the higher the price, the better for him. Winston mentioned he'll call some clients right away to who will be interested in this. In the meantime, he told the attendant Yang to take care of Ning here. Winston talked over the phone with the client, while Ning Feng was served some tea. Soon, Winston was done with the client and informed Ning Feng that his item had been sold for 50,000 crystals, and after deducting 8% transaction fees, Ning Feng will receive 46,000 for it. Ning Feng didn't expect it would sell for that much, and the newbie attendant Yang Xin felt lucky to get a client like Ning Feng. Winston proceeded to state the money will be deposited to Ning Feng's account immediately, while Ning Feng decided to look around for some more items he might want to buy. Meanwhile, other agents were having a talk with the girl who passed Ning Feng to the newbie, and when they asked why she did it, she replied that she was only interested in rich and powerful handsome guys, and poor guys like that boy weren't even worthy of carrying her shoes. It was then our boy came back from the appraisal room, and the self-conscious bitches wonder why the guy was with their manager. One of the agents came and told them that the boy sold equipment for 50,000, and now he was going to buy another piece of equipment. The bold bitch now regretted her actions, and she wanted to be the one to receive commission from this. But it was late for her now, while Yang Xin saw Ning Feng off and told him to find her directly for faster services next time he comes, leaving her name with him. The next day, our boy was walking like a macho man to the meeting spot, and he made sure to check his equipment yesterday beforehand to make sure his equipment won't be transformed to forbidden level. Now he won't have to worry about exposing his forbidden level skills. Ning Feng greeted Wang Yu casually, and beside her, there were her other party members as well, including a shield warrior, a mage, a great axe berserker, and lastly a cleric for healing spells. Wang Yu introduced her party members, but Ning Feng felt a cold, sharp chill from their eyes, as if he owed them 80 million or something. Then the shield warrior told Wang Yu that since she was about to reach her second transformation, he got something for her. Ning Feng was amazed by hearing that, since one would receive transformation quests every 30 levels, which means Wang Yu has already made it to level 60, worthy of being called a genius. Then the purple-head guy showed her the gift, which was an advanced agility potion that could increase the agility by +3. Other party members were astonished since permanent attribute boost items were really expensive, but the purple-head boasted it was nothing for him, since he got help from his rich father's connections to snatch this one. However, Wang Yu turned him down and just thanked him for the offer. The man asked her why don't she show some interest in it since she wanted to apply for a top university, but Wang Yu just walked off and signaled Ning Feng they should get going. The purple-head pointed finger at Ning Feng and questioned Wang Yu if she was really going to waste time on trash like him. Wang Yu got pissed off and told him to watch his words, but Jiao Cheng kept trash-talking of our innocent boy for being just a 1-star. Ning Feng couldn't make sense of why he was being targeted now, but he didn't care much, since could kill this purple head with a forbidden spell any time. The cleric tried to get the purple man calmed down, but he bad-mouthed her as well and told her to get out of his way. The purple head proceeded to mock our boy, saying that the whole body of Ning Feng couldn't be exchanged for even a bottle of attribute potion, so trash like him should just get lost. Ning Feng asked why the purple head was going around biting like a mad dog just because he got some potion with +3 effect. The mage also joined in and asked why don't Ning Feng just show something more powerful to back his words, and Jiao Cheng added a bet that he'll kneel down and kowtow to him if Ning Feng really did show something better. But if he couldn't do that, then Ning Feng would have to kowtow to him instead. Ning Feng didn't like wasting time, so he just took out the orange item, Vanguard Emblem, which permanently boosts 10 attributes. She had never seen it before, and others were just as shocked, so much that they thought it was a lie. Ning Feng simply stated they could just try to check if it was a lie, but Wang Yu hesitated to consume such a precious item. Ning Feng told her he just found it at home and it was originally meant for her anyway. Other party members wanted to see her use it right away, and so Wang Yu consumed the Vanguard emblem for real, raising everyone's curiosity to see its effect. Ning Feng was confident, and Wang Yu also confirmed that her attributes increased for real. Zhao Cheng refused to believe this was real and accused Ning Feng of having stolen it. Ming Feng reminded him to kowtow now just as he bet and make sure to be loud since he can't hear properly, obviously making fun of him. But Zhao Cheng refused to do it, which made his party members doubt he really meant his words. The sheer rude purple head was left with no options but to get down to his knees and admit he was at the wrong in front of Ning Feng. Ning Feng just smirked and waved goodbye to everyone as he left with Wang Yu, and when she said sorry to him for her party members' behavior, Ning Feng told her she don't have to be sorry with him, and if possible, he tried to tell her happily that she don't have to accompany him either and should be focused on her second transformation, so she could get into the best university. His real intention was just to go solo since he can't level up around her. Wang Yu thought he was sacrificing, and she didn't want him to give up on himself. She also brought something for him, and Ming Feng saw those were skill books, the purple ones at that, which were considered second rare after orange ones. He figured they must not have come cheap, but Wang Yu didn't think much of them compared to the orange emblem he gave her. Ning Feng accepted her goodwill with a smile, after which he headed straight to the realm named the Dangerous Graveyard. Here, there were dangers like facing undeads, and currently the undeads were killed one after another by light arrows, shot by Wang Yu while Ning Feng was just enjoying from the sidelines. He was kind of bored as well, since the experience gained by monsters here was low for him, but he can't just tell Wang Yu that he's already a level 10. It was then Wang Yu received a call, and when she picked it up, it was her party members on the other end, telling her the big news that a grand monster boss, the fallen necromancer, was about to appear, and they should take this rare opportunity to level up. The cleric asked her if she would be coming. The cleric was polite in asking her, but Zhao Cheng shouted Wang Yu have to come, because there was no way they could fight the boss without her and might miss on the rare drops from that fallen necromancer, which were very important for Zhao Cheng. Wang Yu heard him clearly, but she didn't just want to leave Ming Feng here. But Ming Feng assured her she could go, and since they both would be in the same secret realm, he could level up with her later. Wang Yu agreed with it and told him to go to the safe zone and wait for her. Ming Feng gave a thumbs up and was really happy she was going now. As she went away, he told her to come by later to play with him if she had time, but she was in no mood to waste time playing around. Now Ming Feng became serious now that he was alone, and since the Grand Monster Boss was here, he should try out the new skills he got to level up. He figured the more forbidden spells the better, and unfortunately he could only use 3 skills at his current level, and the skill slot increases at every 5th level. It means he'll be able to use skill books given by Wang Yu and reaches level 15. Meanwhile, in another area of a dangerous graveyard filled with undead, some party was planning to break through monsters to open up a path to the boss monster. Suddenly, they saw a huge fire attack, which means an adventurer party was already ahead of them. They went ahead and noticed it was the Lion Guild, led by Zhao Cheng, and they knew that party was filled with talented ones like Wang Yu. Their party was paving their path without much difficulty and had set their eyes on defeating this boss before anyone else. The cleric noticed Wang Yu seemed to be stronger than before, which happened because of her stat boost. Meanwhile, inside the Perilous Tomb, the deepest part of this secret realm, a mysterious portal opened near the tomb, and from this spatial magic, our boy just teleported here to the boss monster directly. He faced the fallen necromancer boss directly and said it was time for him to say bye-bye now. Fallen necromancer instantly attacked Ning Feng, and the impact left the targeted area damaged. But Ning Feng timely dodged from it, but the boss thought he evaporated the human and dared how an arrogant adventurer appeared alone in front of him. Ning Feng just appeared from the back of the fallen necromancer with his spatial steps and responded to the monster boss's question that he dared to come alone because he didn't want to share the spoils. Ning Feng activated the Meteor Rain Forbidden spell, and suddenly the whole sky was covered with meteors made of dark energy. The boss monster wasn't the only one damaged by those overpowered meteors, but the whole tomb got destroyed and crumbled apart. Ning Feng smirked as it went easier than expected for him, and he started receiving experience points from all the monsters he killed around this area. And as for the boss monster, it alone gained him 50,000 experience points, leveling him up straight to level 30. Ning Feng liked most of the loot, although he got some of the skill books that he couldn't use. But still they would sell for a lot, so he kept the unusable ones and consumed the Necromancer emblem, which boosted his spirit attribute by 15, while deducting the stamina by 3. Right after he absorbed the Necromancer's emblem, Ning Feng got the notification that he got a chance to awaken into hidden professions like Undead Wizard or become an all-elemental mage. Ning Feng's expression grew serious as he smirked, knowing full well how rare hidden professions were. He figured these emblems must be the keys to awaken the hidden occupations, and that aside, he decided to just choose to become an all-elemental mage. While Ning Feng was in the middle of awakening, everyone else around the area, including Wang Yu's party, got caught up between the terrifying dark magic spread around the whole place. Wang Yu quickly called for retreat, but the Purple Head didn't want to leave because of this rare boss. Wang Yu tried to contact Ning Feng, so he'll leave quickly, and he seemed to have left already. Ning Feng actually went to the Ascension Hall since he reached level 30, and he didn't see many people around the place at the moment. As he walked further, a woman asked him if he was here to receive a job task, to which he nodded, and the woman carried out his registration work by asking for his information. She didn't think he was that talented, since changing jobs at 18 was too late for an average person. When the preparations were done, she asked him to follow her to the machine. She gave him instructions and was about to leave, but she sensed something. Then a guy in armor came and informed her that the perilous tomb had been destroyed and the source of power, which devastated the whole area, was still not clear, but they speculate it must be a threat a king level or higher. The woman seemed to be more than what she looked, as she noted the king level threats happened twice. The guy then mentioned that higher-ups have requested her assistance, and she seemed to have a code name, the Lone Shadow. During the first job change quest, Ning Feng received two options. One was to defeat the boss of Illusion Tomb, ranked A, and obtain its Blood Soul Crown to become Necromancer, or he could pick the second quest, to obtain Holy Emblem from the Divine Temple, ranked S, to become the Master of All Magic. Since Ning Feng wanted to become Master of All Magic, he just accepted the second quest and set out to clear out this S-rank mission to obtain a hidden class. He planned on utilities these 3 days of quest time with ease, and as he left the job transfer hall, Ning Feng noticed the lady attendant wasn't the same woman from earlier. Meanwhile, that woman, a Lone Shadow, was at the tomb that got destroyed to pieces by Ning Feng. While she was analyzing the place, one member from the monitoring team mentions his surprise on seeing a Lone Shadow in the flesh. The Lone Shadow was actually a secret organization, and all the members of this organization possessed hidden classes that allowed them to use the power of darkness in combat. And this woman was also one of them, but apparently she was having trouble in this investigation because the amount of dark power was beyond her comprehension. She informed others, not finding any clues, and it seems the culprit who caused this damage disappeared right afterwards. One of the monitor guys thought this might be a prelude to some kind of crisis, and that aside, he asked her if there was any connection between them. She found it hard to say anything for sure and decided to contact superiors and increase manpower on this investigation. The man asked Madame Kuan Lan if this culprit could be a monster, and she doubted it could very well be a mutant like herself. She confirmed one thing, though, that the danger of this culprit exceeds even king level, because to be able to control that much power of darkness, one would have to pay the costs that no human's body can do. The guy understood it means there was an exceptionally powerful monster hidden in their city, which could bring a catastrophe at any time. Kuan Lan nodded and stated they need to find this culprit as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Ning Feng, the real culprit, was just liking the dim environment in his room, after which he sat down to learn the skills from skill books he got from Wang Yu. One of the skills, Aura Shield, automatically started fusing with the forbidden spell Foul Earth Shell and created another forbidden spell named Foul Earth Defense. It could now absorb any attacks by 100% and also reflect it equally. Ning Feng was taking a liking to his increasing defense means, and now he took a look at the other skill, Rockfall Spell. It also fused with his other skills, and he obtained the passive skill, Elemental Master of Earth, which increases effects of all Earth-related spells by 20%. Ning Feng now still had 4 skill slots empty, so he decided to shop some skills at the exchange later. Next day at the exchange building, he entered looking around as if searching for someone, while the purple-head woman from before saw him trying to be nice this time to get commissions. But Ning Feng didn't bother, as he was looking for the nice woman Yang Xin. The woman said Yang Xin was handling another client right now, so she would instead help him out. Ning Feng refused the offer and preferred to look around the place by himself instead. This ignorance of his pissed her off, as she thought she wasn't even comparable to that newbie. She still tried to get his attention, but Ning Feng kept walking, and after some time Yang Xin arrived running and said she wasn't busy at all, but just having a meal. She was informed by one of her colleagues that Ning Feng was here, after which she just hurried all the way here. Ning Feng apologized for interrupting the meal and offered dinner as compensation after this. The purple head was becoming more angry as she just missed another great deal. Ning Feng proceeded to sell the 2 skill books he received in loot from defeating monsters and wanted to buy other books. At the time of appraisal with manager Winston told Yang Xin to accompany him in buying while he appraised these skills books were not ordinary and a purple level. Winston was becoming curious about Ning Feng's background, so he decided to have someone investigate him. After that, Ning Feng took Yang Xin to dinner, and when he asked for the bill, Yang Xin mentioned she already paid for it. Ning Feng was a little disappointed as he wanted to treat her like promised, but Yang Xin claimed she had a reason to treat him, so she did. Ning Feng wondered what it could be, but she kept it a secret. Later, Ning Feng offered to give her a ride back home, but since she had to stop by somewhere on the way, she just booked a taxi. She set the destination for the taxi to the city hospital, where her father was admitted. She was grateful to Ning Feng, since the commission she earned from him earlier helped her pay the medical bills. She teared up as the bills were finally covered now, but right then, the taxi she was traveling on got into an accident, and the driver was killed right away through a shattered windshield. Yang Xin saw the taxi driver was actually killed by a monster, and unexpectedly, a secret realm seemed to have opened up in this area, causing mass attacks by the monsters. Yang Xin quickly jumped out of the car and wondered why there were monsters in this safe zone. As she was covered with monsters, Yang Xin noticed another secret realm portal opening, from which a man with a monster-like hand came down smirking, with something like an amulet in his neck. Yang Xin tried to fight back against the monster, since she was actually a 1-star mage at level 34, but her attacks were ineffective against this monster. The monster was about to end her life with one strike, but then somebody killed it with a slash of his large sword. This man was one of the adventurers from the security team, and after rescuing her, he confirmed if she was fine and asked her to find a safe place to hide. The man in clad armor wasn't pleased by the sight of the whole area being covered by monsters, and he had never seen a secret realm opening in human cities like this. And as for the monsters from this secret realm, they were by no means something an ordinary adventurer could handle. He recalled hearing from that official that there might be an exceptionally powerful monster hiding in the city, and this incident could be related. Just then, a dangerous sneaky attack was about to hit him, but the man had good reflexes and managed to dodge the devastating blow. He questioned if the sneaky attacker was a human or most likely a mutant. This man was the one who hailed from the secret realm before, and he claimed to be neither a human nor a mutant, but instead a guardian of the power of darkness. The man never heard of this guardian thing, but right now wasn't the time to dwell into these things. He swung his sword without holding back against that guardian, but the guardian just punched back his sword along with him with tenfold force. The man hardly survived that hit, and he determined the strength of the opponent to be at least a third transformation. It was then the Dark Guardian became serious, as he started excluding an ominous dark aura, followed up with a direct confrontation to show the weak human his place. He took a jab straight to the abdomen of the man, causing him to bleed out regardless of the clad armor, sending him flying away to the ground. The Guardian laughed as he claimed to have gotten really stronger by this power of darkness, and he felt like an endless stream of power surging through him. Suddenly, the Guardian was scolded by the voice coming from the amulet, calling him a pathetic human and reminding him not to get carried away, since this power was granted to him by the one behind this voice. Without his power, the man would be just like a worm in the dirt. The Guardian could feel the watchful eye of his master looking through the crack formed in the sky with the secret realm. This demon was on a whole nother level, and seemed to be the mastermind behind this attack on human city. The Guardian bowed down to his master like a slave, after which the demon commanded him to turn everything in this city to dust. The slave guardian heeded to his master's command, but he was unaware that our chill protagonist just came out of the restroom and was surprised by how much the scenery changed from just a few minutes ago. There were monsters everywhere causing destruction and killing people, and right then, one of the monsters saw Ning Feng and attacked him on instinct. Ning Feng stood idle while the shape of ground beneath him started changing, and suddenly a sharp peak emerged from the ground and killed the monster in a second. This was Ning Feng's one of the skills, Earth Spike Wall, which perfectly complemented his other Earth spells. Ning Feng switched to his adventurer's uniform and went to the center of this chaos, where he saw a human in clad armor being almost beaten to death by this mysterious mutant. The Guardian didn't expect a human was still left when he saw Ning Feng and decided to finish him in as little time as possible to move on. But as he attacked Ning Feng, he was unaware that he just called for his death. Ning Feng didn't do anything while the Guardian tried to crush him with his mutinized hand. Only a second later, the smirking Guardian came to realize it wasn't that easy as he saw Ning Feng opposing his grip with a force field. The Guardian couldn't make sense of how a weak human blocked his attack, while the master of this slave sensed exactly how powerful dark energy Ning Feng was excluding. The demon master immediately admitted that the threat of this human far surpassed his own, and even from that much distance, he sensed a presence more terrifying than death in Ning Feng. Ning Feng, on the other hand, just thought if this demon was going to cast a forbidden spell in the city, which would leave him no choice but to end it all here himself. Ning Feng freed himself with ease, and at the same time, the demonic arm of the Guardian shattered because his master pulled back all the dark energy he provided him. The Guardian tried to contact his master, but the demon master already ran off, shouting a retreat to every monster and demon in this area. The monsters quickly listened to their master, and they retreated so fast like a deer running from a tiger. The Guardian's slave was left behind like an abandoned puppy, with his arm shattered and extremely weak compared to before. Ning Feng was amused by this sight and decided to have some fun. Now we get a little information of the so-called mutants, being those humans who obtain a hidden class that uses the power of darkness. This ability to use dark power made them stronger than any ordinary classes. However, when they happen to lose that power of darkness, they become really weak, just like the guardian slave that was abandoned by the demon lord behind him. He was immediately killed by Ning Feng's earth magic, making a hole through him. And now that Ning Feng cleared this situation here, he decided to quickly take the loot and head back home before anyone notices. After a few seconds, the members of the Lung Shadow arrived at the site and were surprised to see the monsters and the secret realm have already disappeared. Kuang Lan was also present here, and she found it strange for the monsters to just attack and disappear without destroying everything in the area, as if they had some ulterior motive to come. She asked other members what was the scene in other areas affected by this catastrophe, to which she replied that most areas were safe now, except the south area, which was in the center of this invasion. Kuang Lan recalled that area was where Captain Zach went off to, so she quickly decided to head there herself. Meanwhile, in the south area at the moment, a man in green armor was observing the dead guardian killed by Ning Feng before. This man was Darius, and he realized that someone took everything from this dead man's body, hinting that he might have known this dead man before. Suddenly, Darius was warned not to move from there by Kuang Lan, and she asked him who he was. Darius told her to chill, and said he was a member of Cloud Mirage, as he showed the emblem which served as the proof of his membership. Kuang Lan recalled that Cloud Mirage was an unofficial group made up entirely of fighters, but since she had heard they operate in secret, she wanted to know the reason what Darius, a member of Cloud Mirage, was doing here. Darius responded he came here because of this dead man, because apparently this man used to be one of them, but he betrayed the organization and assisted monsters to invade their organization and kill most of them, leaving a handful survivors. Kuang Lan suspected if the death of this man was what stopped this current invasion, but Darius knew for sure about that, and he had his own question to ask if they were the ones to kill this man. Kuang Lan denied they weren't, which only confused Darius further as to who could kill this man, since he tried his best until now, but didn't even get to touch him because this guy would always escape. Kuang Lan, on the other hand, was perplexed to see the state of Captain John, who was defeated by a guardian slave despite being a 3-transformation adventurer. Right now, both Kuang Lan and Darius couldn't help but wonder if there was really such a powerful person in this city who could kill that demon in one strike like that. Darius started walking, and Kuang Lan asked him where he was going, to which Darius just replied he was off to find something. Meanwhile, at Ning Feng's house, his smiling was reaching eyes as he managed to get 2 orange-level items, the Eternal Glory armor and pants, both of which required a user to have at least 120 levels to use them. These rewards were even more exciting than the boss rewards last time, and Ning Feng figured out the fact why that guy wasn't wearing it means his level wasn't high enough. Ning Feng figured if it had been high, he might have to use forbidden skills to defeat him. But for the amulet, Ning Feng couldn't see any information about it through the system, which made him wonder if there was some ancient god or something hiding inside. At the same time, through this amulet, the demon lord was able to see and hear Ning Feng's words, and just when he felt relieved by the thought that he wasn't discovered, he heard Ning Feng's doubts of someone hiding in it. The demon lord jumped in fear and cut off all the connections to not risk exposing his location. This caused fear amongst not only him, but all the other monsters as well, and in the end, the demon lord couldn't help but wonder how Ning Feng sensed him. Next day at the city hospital, Captain Zach seemed to have gained consciousness, and he mentioned having seen a young fighter who saved everyone in the city. Captain Zach was actually helped by the man in green armor, Darius, and just at that time, both of them saw the enemy running away after seeing that young man. Kuang Lan could sense vaguely that whoever this mysterious person was, their strength was no lower than hers. It caused some worries to them, as Kuang Lan guessed this person might not be registered for sure, since they couldn't find anything about them. Captain Zach mentioned that with such a person living among them, he already feels so much safer than before. The man behind Kuang Lan suggested an idea that they could try tracking the remnants of the dark power from yesterday's battlefield. However, he had a fear. What if this mysterious figure also turns out to be a mutant, which would mean that rather than safety, they might be in a much bigger danger. Then Captain Zach cut off his train of thoughts and said he was just overthinking it. But Kuang Lan couldn't just come to a final verdict on this matter regarding this mysterious figure. On the other hand, Ning Feng just arrived in the area of another secret realm with the purpose of his job transfer task. Ning Feng went straight to the Temple of Radiance for the mission, but unexpectedly, it seems he was being followed by none other than the man in green armor. The scene shifted back to the previous night at the trading building, where Darius visited in search of the orange items, the set of S-ranked armor and pants. Manager Winston shook hands to welcome Darius, and the purple head agent was very much eager to serve this rich and strong-looking man for his money. Through the manager Winston, Darius learned of a young man willing to sell the exact S-ranked armor and pants set that Darius was looking for, after which Darius asked the manager where was this person right now. Winston replied that the man didn't come here today as he seems to have something to do. Darius recalled this person most likely had the set of his master's relic, so he asked Winston for Ning Feng's location, ready to pay for just information as well. Winston was growing a little hesitant, as he noticed that the moment Ning Feng put the suit on sale, this young man came right away as if he planned it. Winston confirmed the location of Ning Feng through the person he set to investigate him, and after Darius left, Winston recalled that according to his investigation, Ning Feng's parents were just ordinary two-star professionals who disappeared early on. Ning Feng was left alone and attended the city school, later on awakening his profession very late at the age of 18, which was just a one-star profession. The purple-head bitch thought our guy was trash after all and questioned where he could have gotten the items. The agent came to the conclusion that he might have stolen it, which must be why Darius was looking for him. Winston thought even if it wasn't stolen, the means he got it through wouldn't be legitimate by the circumstances. And either way, she figured that Ning Feng would now have to suffer the wrath of that fourth transformation guy now. Meanwhile, Darius was still following Ning Feng with the suspicion of how this mysterious young man could defeat the secret realm invasion that defeated even his master. He just knows for now that his master's relics were on the guy, and if he's not a strong person, then it was more likely there was someone strong behind him, so he better remain cautious of him. As Ning Feng walked further, he saw various adventurers fighting the monsters outside the Temple of Radiance, and now he decided to change into his adventurer's outfit. Darius figured he should be able to gauge Ning Feng's strength with his equipment, but to his disappointment, Ning Feng only changed into a very ordinary outfit, which just made him look like a student who didn't even graduate yet. Then he thought Ning Feng might be doing this on purpose to disguise himself, so from here, Darius took the following more seriously and used his marking skill on Ning Feng's body to know his whereabouts anytime. He also kept Ning Feng's appearance the same one from casual outfits to easily differentiate him from others in the battlefield. Ning Feng just walked straight into the Temple of Radiance, and Darius wondered what he was going to do with these low-level monster parts. It was then Ning Feng was suddenly attacked by the Ice Blaster beam from a monster, but his force field blocked the attack without him having to do anything. Darius was shocked to see an absolute defense skill like that exist, and he started to sense that even monsters started fearing Ning Feng by his presence. Ning Feng then went and stood right against the final boss of this Temple of Radiance, but it wasn't that strong, so Darius wondered why Ning Feng came here. Although the final boss himself broke a sweat and didn't move to stay safe from being attacked by this real monster here, referring to Ning Feng, while Ning Feng just didn't bother with this boss since it wasn't mentioned in the job change quest. So he went around the statue to a hidden place, after which Ning Feng figured this must be the area, and that angel with wings and armor must be the boss he came here for. Just as he expected, the angel's eyes started glowing, and it immediately started creating distance between him and Ning Feng. Ning Feng wondered why he retreated, while Darius, who was watching from the back, couldn't believe there was a rare hidden boss in this place. He couldn't make sense of why Ning Feng would know that, but for Ning Feng, he just looked up his quest again to confirm this six-winged angel was the one he needed to defeat. So Ning Feng was also up for the action to clear out this S-ranked quest, whereas the six-winged angel was running for his life, but he didn't know where else he could escape to in his own secret realm here. The six-winged angel was about to leave from the way up in the temple to the skies, but Ning Feng didn't want to waste any more time, so he activated the forbidden spell Thunderfall Abyss, which summons a massive thunderstorm rivaling the power of heavens. A giant scary eye opened in the sky and unleashed that massive thunder, which couldn't even be described with just overwhelming. The thunderstorm fell directly at the six-winged angel, leaving Ning Feng not having to do much to chase it anymore. Meanwhile, the Temple of Radiance crumpled apart from the terrifying thunder hitting it directly, and Darius was extremely terrified by the scene he just witnessed. As the temple kept falling apart, Darius recalls he had never seen such a world-devastating magic at this level, and he was sure now that Ning Feng's strength was definitely more than his master. He wondered if it was around 8-level transformation, but either way, to Ning Feng, he was casual about being a little bit pissed, since he couldn't level up from all the experience from defeating monsters here, as he'll have to complete the first transformation quest first. He decided to just go back and submit the quest, feeling satisfied with just the holy emblem he got, which was also an orange-level item that provides permanent +8 spirit attribute and 100% recovery effect. Ning Feng was about to use the teleportation scroll to go back, but right then, Darius straight up called him out as boss. Ning Feng was shocked at why someone was here, and if this guy saw everything he did. Darius thought Ning Feng seemed upset from his interruption, so he started requesting forgiveness and stating he could explain. Just then, they heard the alarms for danger to the adventurers, and Ning Feng told Darius to first get out of here, then they could talk. After that, they went under a tree, and Ning Feng learned of Darius following him all the way here. Darius claimed he didn't mean anything rude by it, and he just wanted to confirm something given Ning Feng's young age. He wouldn't have believed how strong Ning Feng was if he hadn't seen it himself. Darius mentioned that his master sacrificed his life in the past just to seal the secret realm temporarily that invaded their organization, and even so, the traitor escaped from the scene. Then over the years, Darius learned that traitors used many humans as sacrificial offerings to break that seal on the secret realm. Ning Feng wasn't that interested in the story, but thinking it was troublesome that if this fourth transformation powerhouse Darius hadn't shown himself, Ning Feng wouldn't have noticed him at all. It bugged him a little to quickly level up if he didn't want to be exposed. Darius was scared by Ning Feng's silence, as he thought Ning Feng might be thinking of quieting Darius by killing him. Darius then thanked Ning Feng for avenging his master and stated that if he ever needed anything in future, he could just let him know. Ning Feng figured since this person was like a lone wolf powerhouse himself, he might be useful for him. So he just made it clear to Darius that no one else should know about what happened today besides Darius, and Darius promised to keep his mouth shut. Darius was convinced that even though Ning Feng's skills were filled with a strong power of darkness, it didn't harm any innocent and even saved the city before by repelling the secret realm invasion. He admired Ning Feng for doing these things without even demanding anything in return. Darius decided to settle in the same city, Chandra City, so he could stay around Ning Feng. Ning Feng's phone rang and it was Teacher Tai, wanting to ask where he was. Ning Feng replied he was just out of town and was going to head back home. He asked if she needed anything, to which she just replied she had something to discuss when he got back. Ning Feng wondered why she called him suddenly, while on Teacher Qi's side, Kuang Lan was also present and she asked her how did the call. Teacher Qi replied that Ning Feng was fine and he was already on his way back. Kuang Lan mentioned it was quite surprising for a student who just awakened to be already coming to get his first transformation job, and if she hadn't noticed it, they would have missed this one out. Teacher Qi believed Ning Feng was not a bad person, but Kuang Lan wanted to verify it herself. She recalls the meeting of the Lone Shadow Organization before, where they were talking about the recent dangers, and then Kuang Lan asked her question. These two forbidden spells could be casted by a mutant. There was a moment of silence before the old man asked Kuang Lan how she could doubt that despite being a mutant herself. It was because she should know that all mutants need to pay the equal price for using the power of darkness, and the greater the spell, the higher the price. And the amount of dark energy required for a forbidden spell would lead to any mutant even turning into a monster as a price to pay with their body. So a mutant of king-level threat could simply not exist at all. The blue-haired guy called her confused for even imagining a king-level mutant and joked that she should just start writing stories if she liked imagining things so much. Kuang Lan stated she was just considering all the possibilities, and it was up to them whether to listen or not. The man called her incompetent to still be arguing about it, and he bet that if there really is a king-level mutant, he would happily let her use his head as a football. The old man concluded the meeting by denying the request of Kuang Lan, asking for more manpower from the Lone Shadow Organization. She asked if this means they don't trust her, but the old man just excused them because they needed more time to consider it. Kuang Lan figured it was no use talking further about it, and suddenly, a woman barged in to give news to the captain about the Temple of Radiance breaking into pieces by destructive magic. She reported there were no casualties, fortunately. Teacher Q was surprised to hear the details of the meeting, as she recalled Ning Feng choosing the Temple of Radiance for his training ground. Kuang Lan connected all the dots, and it interested her further to find out Ning Feng's role in all this. Meanwhile, at the Longbow City, which was near the secret realm with the Temple of Radiance, there was a huge barrier activated around the city, and now Ning Feng and Darius had to wait with others to go anywhere. The officials assured the citizens not to worry, as the barrier was raised to the highest level alert for their protection, so they were safe. Ning Feng didn't expect the commotion caused by him would directly trigger the highest alert, and now they'll have to wait until this alert is lifted. Just then, a crack formed in the sky, and the one who caused it was a high demon who planned to invade the human city. The demon wondered why the humans already activated a barrier, as if they knew he was coming. Although it was irrelevant to him, because either way he launched the attack on humans along with the monster's army he brought along. The demon pointed at the barrier to open a crack in it, after which he commanded the whole army to unleash an attack on them. All the citizens quickly saw the army of monsters appearing out of thin air, and not only that, but they also managed to cross through the barrier. The security officials didn't expect it to happen, while the monsters immediately started killing off the people, creating a commotion around the area. The officials can't make sense out of how monsters broke through the barrier, but now wasn't the time to keep thinking, as they needed to evacuate the citizens. Darius activated his martial K to sense the situation and informed Ning Feng that this might be another high-intensity invasion of demons. He asked Ning Feng if they should intervene, and Ning Feng asked him if he had a solution for it. Darius was perplexed, as he thought why would the boss ask him for a solution when he was so strong himself, which means Ning Feng was actually testing Darius right now. Darius determined himself to handle it by himself to prove his worth to Ning Feng. while Ning Feng figured it would be more convenient for himself to not be involved due to the destructive nature of dark forbidden spells, which might hurt the civilians. Now the high demon plummeted to the ground, excluding a heavy dark magic presence around him, and he didn't seem to be planning to wait to kill. The security officials started shooting arrows at the high demon, but it was no use since the demon didn't even bother dodging such weak attacks. A swordsman tried to charge from the demon's blind spot, but he was instantly killed by the demon's reflexive hand swing. The archer was in fear, as they couldn't even touch this demon, while the demon kept walking casually, making the remark that there were no strong ones in humans. The demon headed towards the groups of people to flatten them down, and he swung down his sword at a helpless blue-haired girl. But unexpectedly for the demon, his attack was blocked by Darius with his dagger and only one hand. The demon could feel this one's strength for real, and Darius remarked that he won't let his boss be involved personally because it'll just waste the boss's time. So he would rather take care of this situation himself. Ning Feng doesn't recall when he became Darius' boss, while the demon didn't take the humiliation and was about to retaliate. But Darius made a move first and pushed the demon back. The demon spurted out blue blood from mouth due to the impact from Darius' attack, and before the demon could counter, he witnessed the scary side of Darius following up with another attack. Darius used twin daggers to launch a series of brutal slashes on the demon and finished it in a flashy way. The civilians saw the scene and were confident this man would definitely wipe off all the demons. Darius didn't even flinch until he killed the demon and walked ahead with no change in expression at all. Darius was actually a level 137 adventurer, with his profession as the secret martial artist, a 5-star hidden class. Ning Feng was extremely impressed inside by Darius' performance, but he maintained a composed look and just commented it was not bad. Now that the monster's leader was eliminated, the morale of other security officials boosted, and they started wiping off the remaining monsters. Darius asked Ning Feng if he needed him to do anything else, to which Ning Feng just replied with a thumbs up saying his work was done here and it was great. People who saw them wondered why was such a formidable fighter showing so much respect to that young man, and they speculated Ning might be just some rich guy's son and Darius was his bodyguard. Now, Darius took out the loot he got from defeating the High Demon and gave it to Ning Feng. Other people started hoping they would get those orange-level items, and the girl was even ready to serve as maid to Ning Feng for them. The orange items contained an agility-based skill book, which Ning Feng thought would be great for Wang Yu, and the other item was the dark shield, which he could just sell for the money later. After that, the security official in knight armor asked Darius and Ning Feng if they could have a word with them. They took Ning Feng and Darius to their boss, the mayor of Longbow City, because the mayor wanted to thank them for saving their city. The mayor introduced himself as Marcus Drake and asked the two if they were not from here. Ning Feng replied he just came here for some business but ended up getting stuck due to the lockdown. He asked the mayor with cold eyes why he was being held here for so long. The mayor replied it couldn't be helped because of the highest alert security and apologized to him for their mistake. Ning Feng politely told him there was no need to be sorry, because inside he knew it was his fault to trigger the barrier in the first place. Then the mayor asked his men to get the flying scrolls, which he wanted to give to Ning Feng as compensation. Ning Feng figured the flying scrolls were a good item, and they were pretty rare to find since they could be used only once. Then the mayor requested Ning Feng if he could stay here in Longbow City for a few days, since they might need some time to repair the barrier and monsters might attack in that time. Ning Feng mentioned his schedule was right, so he couldn't fulfill that request, and he wanted to go back quickly to complete the quest within time. Ning Feng asked a bit strictly if the mayor thinks he was so free, which made the mayor reconsider his request. Just then, the scrolls arrived and the mayor gave Ning Feng the flying scroll along with a supreme black card that works in any trading company. Ning Feng recalled that the supreme black card was basically the proof of him as a VIP, and it was given to only a select few individuals. He figured the mayor must have a high reputation in the trading company, so with that, he accepted the items and the mayor was glad his sentiments were understood. Otherwise, he might be blamed for losing favorability of such strong individuals. Mayor asked Ning Feng if he could expect to seek help from them in future, and Ning Feng replied that won't be a problem as long as he has time, he will help. Mayor and others were extremely happy to hear that, since this means their city will be safe in future. Now Ning Feng and Darius used the flying scrolls to fly in the air at high speeds to return to their city. Meanwhile, at the transformation hall, Wang Yu's party was eagerly waiting for her to come out with her second transformation quest. She soon came out along with Zhao Cheng, and suddenly, Wang Yu noticed someone coming with the help of flying scrolls. Zhao Cheng asked her what was wrong, and she replied that among those two people, she thought she just saw Ning Feng as well. Zhao Cheng asked if she was sure about that, since the flying scrolls cost thousands of crystals, and they might be too much to afford for a poor guide like Ning Feng. And other than that, it was also not possible for a just awakened guy to come to the job transfer hall. Wang Yu was pissed off and she warned Zhao Cheng not to dare say anything bad about Ning Feng again. Otherwise, she'll make him regret it. Zhao Cheng hated being talked to like that, and he wondered why he always brought up that worthless loser. The cleric came to the front and asked Wang Yu and Zhao Cheng how their second transformation went. Zhao Cheng replied that he ended up getting a grade quest, and unfortunately, he didn't get an S rank one. Others tried to cheer him up, saying it was awesome enough to complete his second transformation at the age of 18, and he would be counted in the supernova list by top universities. Cleric asked Wang Yu next, and for some reason, Wang Yu kept quiet for a moment. Her silence made others curious, and they thought if she ended up getting a quest below C grade. Zhao Cheng thought she wouldn't always be a genius, and if she did get a low-rank quest, then he could try to be nice in her eyes by trying to comfort her this time. But to his surprise, Wang Yu replied why would she need to be comforted when she actually got an S-rank quest. Everyone was surprised by the news, as getting an S-rank quest was extremely rare. However, the reason why Wang Yu seemed a bit distressed was because her quest was actually rewarding her with a hidden class she had never seen before. Zhao Cheng questioned how one's class changed to hidden class when the classes were already determined at the time of awakening. Wang Yu knew that as well, but when she went for the second transformation, she was faced with the chance to undergo a hidden class change from Swift Archer to Vanguard Shadow. It was possible because of the Vanguard emblem she consumed before, and Wang Yu was also contemplating on this unexpected change. She recalled that the emblem given by Ning Feng turned out to be more than just an item, and she wondered if the confidence Ning Feng gave it to her meant if he already knew something like this would happen. She chose to advance to hidden class, and after telling all the process to her teammates, the cleric asked her how she could take such a big decision so quickly. Zhao Cheng, on the other hand, believed that might be a fault in the job change system, and told her to not make a decision so hastily, as it could ruin her whole life. Wang Yu realized that he was unhappy with her development, so she made it clear he should mind his business. Others, on the other hand, were happy for her, and the cleric wished she could have a friend like Ning Feng. Zhao Cheng grew jealous of her, and he wanted to get one emblem for himself no matter what. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was currently looking at the divine emblem, which provided permanent plus 5 points to stamina and spirit. He consumed this emblem to complete the S-rank quest, and after absorbing it, Ning Feng saw the process of his first transformation. He received a passive skill, precise manipulation of forbidden spells, which allowed him to control the power of darkness significantly. Meanwhile, Darius was waiting in the back, and at the same time, Quan Lan came and saw Darius, recognizing him as the same fighter she met before. She wondered why Darius was here, as if he was guarding Ning Feng. Quan Lan had investigated Darius previously and learned that he was quite insanely talented to have a fourth transformation at his younger age. He was basically a genius, even at the national age. However, she couldn't make sense of what she heard from the staff at this place, stating that when Darius entered here, he was always behind Ning Feng and was maintaining a very respectful attitude towards him. Quan Lan informed teacher Kai one thing for sure, that her student Ning Feng was definitely not simple, and she left the rest up to her to confirm it, as Ning Feng arrived back from his first transformation. Teacher Qi's belief in her student didn't waver at all. Being sure that he will never become their enemy, Ning Feng was casually leaving the place while talking to Darius when he got called out by teacher Kai. Ning Feng didn't expect to see her here, and he recalled she had something to talk to him about. At the same time, Darius called Ning Feng boss and said he'll respect his privacy and wait over there. Ning Feng's face turned pale, and he quickly explained to teacher Kai that the guy was just joking. Then teacher Qi asked Ning Feng if he had already completed his first transformation. Ning Feng was taken aback by this revelation, and he remained silent for a minute, thinking about what he should reply now. But since teacher Cha has always taken care of him, he knew he could trust her, so Ning Feng came out honest that he did complete his first transformation, and he didn't exactly want to explain too much to anyone else since it was complicated. Teacher Cha had to ask him something else then. He was influenced by the power of darkness. Ning Feng asked her why she questioned that, since it means she might know something about his system. Teacher Kai stated there have been anomalies in the world, including many secret realm invasions which also affected many people with the power of darkness, transforming them into mutants. Ning Feng just replied that he was not a mutant in that case, and he recalled that mutants were closely monitored by the authorities, so he didn't want to be involved with them in any way. Teacher Qi asked him if he could cooperate for one more thing, as she took out a piece of black rock. She asked him to inject his magic power into these crystals, as it'll display the power of darkness inside him. Ning Feng's face broke a sweat in tension, and his hesitation made teacher Qi suspect him. Ning Feng just claimed to be a bit nervous, and he tried to inject a little power of darkness in that stone. Suddenly, the dark rock exploded into pieces, and Ning Feng knew the reason for it very well. Teacher Chai, on the other hand, was shocked by this reaction. Ning Feng asked her what's going on, and teacher Kai recalled this rock was actually a demon crystal, which was very sensitive to the power of darkness, so it was used to detect mutants. When the crystal was injected with dark power, it shakes, and the more intense the shaking, the higher the amount of power of darkness one has. But Teacher Kai didn't know exactly what it meant if the rock just exploded like that. As Teacher Qirai and Ningfeng both looked at the shattered demon crystal in confusion, Ningfeng told her it might be a bit unbelievable to change his profession right after awakening, but he wanted to know if she could trust him as a person, since they have known each other for so long. Teacher Qirai knew Ningfeng lost his parents at a young age, and he also awakened later than others, so it was already remarkable of him to maintain such an optimistic and positive nature. She affirmed that she trusted him, but it was her duty to report these events further. She asked him for understanding, and Ningfeng understood it well. However, he can't think of how the officials would respond, and he might even have to leave Chandra City in the worst-case scenario. After that, Teacher Ki took out an item and said it was something she wanted to give him to congratulate his first transformation. It was a purple-level spell book, and Ningfeng accepted it happily. He thanked Teacher Ki for taking care of him all these years, and he also had prepared a gift for her. Ningfeng presented an orange-level item, the Holy Wings belt, which boosted one's spirit power by 20, recovered stamina and healing powers by 50%, and even provided 100% dark power resistance. It also had a feature to allow the user to cast healing spells with no chanting. Teacher Ki was amazed by receiving an orange item just like that, and that no chant effect could save lives at crucial moments. She told him she couldn't possibly accept something this precious, but Ningfeng replied it was just the reward of his first transformation, so he wanted to give it to her. After just handing it over to her, Ningfeng mentioned his friends were waiting, so he took his leave while he looked cool. As Teacher Kai saw him leave with Darius, she tried to process how Ningfeng just had an orange item like that, making him seem a bit mysterious. Later, at the adventurer's office, she went to report what happened to Quan Lan, and she had never seen such a situation of the demon crystal shattering before. Quan Lan wondered what if the Lone Shadow organization ends up considering Ningfeng a threat, it would most likely make him their target. Quan Lan just decided to leave it at that because Ningfeng was out of their understanding. So it was clear that if he was indeed a strong person, then they should be doing everything to win him over, rather than angering him by digging too deep. She suspended the investigation on Ningfeng and ordered all the information related to him to be strictly sealed. Teacher Ki agreed to this proposition made by Quan Lan, since she wanted to protect him. Now Quan Lan shifted her focus to Darius and considered they should try recruiting him. Meanwhile, at Ningfeng's house, Darius asked him why he seemed a bit unhappy. Ningfeng replied that he got to hear from the teacher that the investigation on him had been cancelled. Darius asked if it wasn't a good thing, but Ningfeng was actually worried about leveling up in future, because now every time he ends up destroying his secret realm, he would be found out right away. He figured this was going to cause a lot of trouble later on by authorities. Darius admired how Ningfeng was so casually worrying about something like destroying the secret realm every time. Darius wouldn't have believed it was true if he hadn't seen it for himself. Darius suggested the boss could try leveling up in the unregistered secret realms, as there have been discovery of way too many secret realms recently, and some of them were not managed by authorities due to lack of resources. Ningfeng figured it was worth a try and asked Darius if he got any information on them. Darius got the information on 2 unregistered secret realms for now, and if the boss needs to, he could gather more information. Ningfeng decided to rely on him for that, and he started to see how convenient it was to have Darius handle these things. Now Ningfeng planned to go to the trading post to sell the loot, after which he was planning to take a break for a while. He wasn't worried about falling behind since every skill of his was already at a forbidden level. Meanwhile, Darius went to a large hotel to stay the night, and he planned on finding a place to rent soon. It was then he was greeted by a man in black suit, and upon asking for identity, the man introduced himself as Zhang Ji, the mayor of Chandra City, and he came after hearing of how Darius helped out during the secret realm invasion before. He asked Darius if he had any plans to settle down here in Chandra City, to which Darius replied that he does plan on staying here. Zhang Ji was glad to hear that, and he warmly welcomed Darius with a special adventurer privilege card. Darius was promised to be provided with whatever he requires, and he accepted the card. Zhang Ji has heard that other cities previously tried to recruit him, but they were all rejected. He hoped Chandra wouldn't be looked down upon as a small place now. Darius accepted the mayor's kind gesture, and they shook hands for cooperation in future. Darius figured these special privileges might be helpful for his boss in the future, so he should keep it. Meanwhile, the mayor was just happy to have a 4th transformation expert in their city to make it safer. Now the mayor asked Darius if he was looking for a place to stay, in which case he'll arrange one right away. Meanwhile, our boy was playing the league and he just won a match, then saw it had gotten late. He was about to sleep when he saw his class group was still chatting at this time. The students from his class were talking about their levels, and everyone was still trying to reach level 30 before the college entrance exams. Ningfeng then reads some students texting about referring to him as a lazy guy who was playing games even now. Ningfeng didn't like to be stalked by these admirers of Wang Yu who were just jealous of him. Then he saw teacher Kai retracting the mocking text from the group. Ning Feng laughed as he saw those guys being scolded. Just then, he saw the news of secret realm invasions in other cities. Students discussed that some cities seem to have fallen to monsters already, and then someone mentioned their city was also targeted recently, but someone happened to have repelled it. Students felt safer with some mysterious strong guy in the city, and they wished to respect this savior like an elder. Ning Feng felt a bit let down from the comment, and he recalled how monsters just ran away last time when he encountered an invasion. At the same time, the demon lord sneezed back at his place, and for some reason he started feeling scared for some reason. Next day at the trading post, Yang Xin was still attending her work even if she got bandages from last accident injuries. The purple bitch tried to tease her for coming to work with injuries just to climb up the ranks faster. Yang Xin refused it wasn't like that, but then the purple head told her that Yang Xin's precious customer, Ning Feng, actually turned out to be a thief who stole from a fourth transformation adventurer. She guessed that he might already be in trouble by now, but Yang Xin defended our boy, claiming he wasn't the type of guy who could steal. The purple head started mentioning how Ning Feng was just a trashy guy who awakened late with one stark profession, and since he didn't even have parents, he might not know stealing was bad either. She added that the fact a fourth transformation guy came over to investigate a trash guy like him proves that he was a thief. Suddenly, a mysterious piece of rock emerged from the left side of the purple bitch out of nowhere, and the source turned out to be none other than Ning Feng. He warned her not to say something that would make him lose his temper. The purple head didn't expect him to be safe and was surprised. She then accused him of using offensive spells within the trading post and started calling the guards to handle him. Yang Xin told her to quickly escape before the guard arrived. Ning Feng assured her not to worry about it. She was worried for him, and soon the guards really arrived along with the manager Winston. Winston was offended by Ning Feng acting reckless within the building, but Ning Feng was also pissed off because he learned of Winston carrying out an investigation behind his back and even framing him as a thief. Winston said that being a thief or not was the talk for later, but for now he commanded the guards to send him outside. Ning Feng took out the black card and asked if this was how they treat their guests. The guards immediately halted on the way, and Winston and the purple bitch were both shocked to see a supreme black card on Ning Feng. They thought it must be fake. Ning Feng mentioned he got it as a gift from the Mayor Drake. Winston questioned how he got it for real, and Ning Feng just told him to investigate it himself if he wants to confirm it. The purple head asked the boss what they should do now, and Winston told the guards to keep an eye on Ning Feng while he made a call to inquire about it. The trading post was closed by the guards for the time being until this situation resolves. While the Mayor Drake asked Winston what was going on as he heard about Winston investigating Mr. Ning Feng. Winston's face immediately turned blue as he noticed the mayor seemed to know Ning Feng, and he excused himself saying it was just a small misunderstanding. Winston recalls that Mayor Drake's father was one of the founders of the trading posts, so it was given that he'll respect Mayor Drake to not risk his job. But Mayor Drake was pissed off when he doubted something was wrong and shouted at Winston if he offended Ning Feng by any chance. Winston lied he couldn't possibly do that, but the mayor was already sure of it now. He slammed his fist on the desk and announced he'll be there at the trading post right away. Winston was left dead inside as he couldn't figure out why the mayor was so angry just because Ning Feng was involved. He decided to call Darius as he figured that the fourth transformation powerhouse will definitely save Winston's face in front of the mayor. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was passing time in the waiting area, and soon the Mayor Drake and Darius came running to see Ning Feng. Ning Feng asked them why they were here, while Yang Xin was puzzled to see them. Apparently, they could tell Mayor and Darius were pissed off at the purple head, making her scared as if she'd done something wrong. She then saw the manager coming out with a dead expression, and when she asked him what happened, Winston claimed it was all over now. Mayor asked Ning Feng if he really didn't want that manager to apologize. He nodded that there was no need, as he doesn't think he's the kind of person who would repent by just apologizing. The mayor ordered then fire the manager Winston and his agent, after which the manager was really pissed off, and he hit the purple head bitch for ruining him. Mayor Drake was feeling ashamed for this happening in front of Ning Feng, and he ordered the guards to get them out. After that, Ning Feng was taken to the VIP lounge where he sat down with Darius and the mayor for some tea. Mayor noticed Ning Feng seems to have a good impression of Yang Xin, and thanks to her, the trading post reputation was saved. Meanwhile, Yang Xin was observing how cool Ning Feng was even while talking to such big shots. Mayor gave Yang Xin a heads up for being so diligent in her work, and she promised to work hard in future as well. Ning Feng apologized to the mayor for taking his time, but the mayor claimed it was fine and Ning Feng's matters were his. Mayor then asked if Ning Feng was interested in buying anything from the catalog, and Ning Feng mentioned he was trying to see if they heard of something called the Relic of the End. Both the mayor and Darius were confused as they heard it for the first time, but Ning Feng just excused, saying it was nothing but something he read on the internet. Later, he returns to home and starts consuming the skill book given by teacher Kai, which holds the skill to replenish mana in battle temporarily. Ning Feng was curious what forbidden spell it would turn into, and after learning it, it turned into a spell that allows him to absorb dark power from items. Ning Feng left understanding of the item and surrendered to the knight. Next day, Mayor Drake bid farewell to him and used the flying scroll to fly back to his Longbow City. Ning Feng wanted to eat something now, then Darius suggested he eat at his place. Darius guided Ning Feng to his villa, which was as luxurious as it gets with all the things one would want, a big house with cozy top-notch furniture. Darius suggested Ning Feng to shift with him if he wants, as he could find another place instead if the boss likes it here. Ning Feng responded he'll save up and own a place himself later in Darius's neighborhood instead. Darius asked if the boss needs money. He'll happily give him as much he wants. But Ning Feng didn't need his money since he himself got a fair amount of crystal coins from selling equipment lately, and now he just has to convert it to cash and he'll have enough to buy a villa if he wants. Although, he didn't want to spend most of the money he had at once and it could wait. After some tea, Ning Feng was feeling refreshed and Darius told him the chefs would soon arrive. Darius's phone rang and he asked the mayor on the other end what was up. It was the mayor Zhang and he needed some help from Darius. He mentioned that recently a team was sent from above to investigate several disasters in their city, so they needed some cooperation from Darius. Darius looked at Ning Feng's confused face and thought this investigation might affect his boss, so he replied to the mayor that he wasn't free today, as he wanted to talk to Ning Feng about it first. Mayor Zhang told him okay, and asked him to let him know when he had time. Darius discussed it with Ning Feng, and Ning wondered what kind of people were these investigation people. Meanwhile, one of the guys from this investigation team seemed to be dead serious on checking out if this joke of some mysterious boss in the city was true or not. In a meeting of the investigation team, the same man asked Quan Lan if she had seen this mysterious boss. She denied she hadn't, and the man stated how there were so many rumors out there when no one had seen this boss. Quan Lan mentioned it was because the invasion of monsters, including the mutants assisting it, were both taken care of by that boss. The allied man refused to take it as evidence of this boss's existence, and instead he asked her what had this mysterious boss done when the other places were being attacked. Quan Lan remained silent, while Teacher Chi knew she was protecting Ning Feng here. It was then the mayor Zhangji arrived and said Darius was busy and won't be coming to the meeting today. The allied guy was pissed at some adventurer just doing whatever they wanted, and he couldn't wait any longer now. So he declared to take on full charge of this investigation while the rest can go on about other works. Later at the dungeon named Ewe Tomb, the owl-eyed man Jack arrived to conduct an investigation, but he was stopped by the guards there for safety reasons. Jack told them he was from the investigation team and he'd like to investigate in that dungeon over there. They let him pass and Jack entered the Iway tomb just like that, only to arrive in the same dungeon of undead that was destroyed by Ning Feng at first. Jack was amazed by the sight of overwhelming destruction around the area, and he can't comprehend what power could destroy a whole dungeon so thoroughly. He could sense that even the dark energy remnants were still pure and powerful, and no matter what others say, he doesn't think this existence could be a mere human or mutant. Jack was enticed by all the dark energy, but when he tried to absorb a little of it, suddenly a monster emerged from the dark hole. Jack didn't expect this area to be filled with so many powerful monsters, and he planned on killing and absorbing their dark energy for himself. Meanwhile, at Darius's house, Ning Feng was playing games when suddenly he got an alert that the final relic was found. Ning Feng didn't know the system could contact him like this, and when he tried to concentrate, he could find the location of this final relic. Ning Feng got ready to leave to check this out right away. Darius saw and asked where he was going, to which he replied nonchalantly that he was just heading out for a bit. He asked Darius to continue the game for him and try not to lose rank points. Ning Feng took a cab to the nearest spot to the location his senses were telling him, but then he noticed that something seemed to be moving. Meanwhile, at the dungeon he was going to, the guards suddenly encountered a monster that emerged out of nowhere from the gate. They couldn't understand just what was that thing, as this monster had the face of Jack on the top center. Jack was calling out for help, requesting somebody to get him out of this. On Ning Feng's side, he encountered a path blocked by the security officials as they alerted everyone of the danger ahead. Ning Feng just got off here and decided to follow that thing 1 foot from here. He noticed it seems to have stopped at one place for now. Meanwhile, Jack and the monster or monster with trapped Jack was causing destruction around the place while Jack requested somebody for help repeatedly. Soon, the members of Lone Shadow, including Quan Lan, arrived, and they were just as bewildered at the sight, wondering what was going on. A fierce battle took place, and the scene shifts to Teacher Kua using her healing magic on Quan Lan, who was defeated by Jack. Quan Lan managed to survive this only because Teacher Kua had the equipment she was given by Ning Feng. The moment Quan Lan woke up, she asked where the monster went, and Teacher Ki replied it was headed towards the city. She mentioned the mayor Zhang had already called Darius for help, and now it was up to his timing to minimize the destruction. Kuang Lan thought since Darius was almost as strong as her, he alone won't be a match for the monster. But she believed that the person behind him, Ning Feng, might be their last hope now. Meanwhile, the monster Jack was wreaking havoc wherever he was going, and Ning Feng didn't expect it to be a big skull monster with a small skull at the top. Ning Feng wondered casually if this beast would require him to use a forbidden spell to defeat it. The monster attacked as soon as it spotted Ning Feng, but our boy stayed in place as he didn't feel the need to dodge this attack. The monster's attack was deflected by Ning Feng's force shield, and it couldn't believe how there could be such a powerful force field on a person. At the same time, Ning Feng received the option if he wanted to absorb this skull monster, and since it seemed the easy way, he just chose to go along with it. Ning Feng suddenly felt some difference as his body started absorbing the dark power from the skull monster. During that process, some memories flashes in Ning Feng's eyes as if these were the memories of someone else. Ning Feng saw many terrifying things in these memories, like the army of monsters with many demon lords. At the end, he received the notification that all of his attributes were increased by 100. Ning Feng was overjoyed at this significant boost of attributes, but he recalled something was a bit off about this process, as if he absorbed more than just dark energy, some kind of images or memories. Right then, Darius arrived at the location his aid was requested, and he found Boss there. He asked Ning Feng what happened here, to which he replied that he just took care of the monster. Jack was left behind since it was only dark energy that was absorbed by Ning Feng. Darius wondered if this guy was behind the monster invasion, and more confusing than that, he can't sense any overwhelming power around the area. It made him wonder how Ning Feng took care of this monster without using any powerful magic spell. Now Ning Feng just left the cleanup to Darius and ran off incredibly fast by himself. Darius didn't know Ning Feng could run that fast, as he expected Ning Feng to be just a mage. Darius could tell that speed already surpasses most of the agility-based adventurers, which makes him think highly of Ning Feng. Later, at the prison of Chandra City, Jack was imprisoned here and was questioned about the disaster caused by him. He confessed that he was indeed the monster back then, and apparently he became one when he found a mysterious demon in that dungeon. He tried to take the dark energy of that monster for himself, but instead he was devoured by that monster, which later used him as a vessel. Kuang Lan gets the gist of the situation, and apparently, from what Jack remembers, he was dealt with by the mysterious boss. Mayor Zhang was excited, as this proves how safe their city was because of the mysterious boss, and Kuang Lan and Teacher Kai smiled, knowing it was more or less true. Afterwards, the mayor asked Darius if he had seen that mysterious boss, to which Darius replied he was indeed fortunate enough to see him. His reply got Teacher Kitty and Kuang Lan at alert, as they thought Darius might reveal Ning Feng's identity. Mayor requested to be introduced to this mysterious boss so he could reward them and make sure they lived permanently in Chandra City. Darius replied that the boss didn't like attention, so the mayor should give up this idea. Darius has already talked this out with Ning Feng before, that they will keep this notion of mysterious boss wandering, since no one can prove anything without evidence. Mayor was a bit dejected, as he believed that many people must be trying to curry favor with powerful people like this mysterious boss right now. Darius assured the mayor that since the mysterious boss has relatives in this city, he will take special care of this place for sure in future, so the mayor doesn't have to worry about it, and just make sure not to disturb him. When Kuang Lan and Teacher heard statements made by Darius, they wondered if this mysterious boss was actually not Ning Feng, but one of his elder relatives. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was back at his apartment taking a bath while trying to understand more about these so-called final relics. Apparently, he deduced these were the remains left behind by the dead demon lords, and the images that appeared in his mind before were actually fragments of them. He didn't intend to become a demon lord, so he tried to think of what use these memories were to him. Right then, Ning Feng happened to think these memories might be useful, because if he's right, these secret realm invasions will keep happening and eventually bring the end of the world in future. And currently he doesn't think there were many people like Fourth Transformation adventurers who could fight off all of these monsters in every location. He figured if this keeps up, humanity will eventually throw in the towel, so he needs to be able to do something more than just to protect himself, since he doesn't want to live in a world full of monsters. Ning Feng recalled there were ways to repel these invasions shown in those memories, so he planned on carefully using them to strengthen the trustworthy individuals who will fight to save humanity. He knew the dangers if someone untrustworthy becomes strong and may lead to unforeseen circumstances. At the same time, Ning Feng received a call from his childhood friend Wang Yu, and when he asked what was up, she replied that she finally completed her S-rank quest and her class had transformed to Shadow Vanguard. She planned to treat Ning Feng on this occasion and told him that he must come. Ning Feng agreed to come on the treat without missing it. Wang Yu sent him the location for treatment, after which she exited the job change hall. There she saw her party members standing there to congratulate Wang Yu on her successful second transformation. Even Zhao Cheng was praising her for reaching second transformation at such a young age, but being the asshole he was, he told her to come to celebrate as he already reserved a private room in the best restaurant in the city. Wang Yu claimed to have other plans tonight. She told them to have fun tonight and she'll host another party tomorrow. Zhao Cheng asked couldn't she just postpone anything else, since it was an important celebration, but Wang Yu just kept on walking ahead as she could feel envy from Zhao Cheng's words. Zhao Cheng was pissed off to see she was already acting like a stranger after second transformation. The cleric stated she wasn't that kind of person and she must have something important for real. Zhao Cheng then questioned others if they were not exhausted from trying to keep up with her progress, as she had not only completed the S-rank quest, she also awakened a new hidden profession. Zhao Cheng made others think if this keeps up, she will completely leave them behind one day. Later in the evening, Ning Feng was treated with an exquisite dish, and he teased Wang Yu, saying he could only have such delicacies by following her around. Wang Yu thanked him, as it was mostly because of the emblem he gave her. Ning Feng just now learned that the emblem awakened a hidden class for her, which could play a crucial role in the coming war he saw in those memories. Ning Feng thought those emblems could be one of the ways to enhance the strength of people. Wang Yu then asked him if he knew where those emblems were found, to which he replied he wasn't sure of that. Wang Yu wished she could get some emblems to give to Ning Feng in her party. Ning Feng liked this considerate part of hers, as she counts him in everything good. Wang Yu just claims she'll figure out the emblem situation, while she wanted Ning Feng to not give up on leveling up. She also wanted to find some self-protection ability for him, since it was dangerous outside these days. Ning Feng teased her that it was troublesome to level up on his own, so he would just take her along to protect him. Wang Yu was startled by smirk and usual lazy attitude while she was serious here. Suddenly, her expression grew painful and Ning Feng asked her what happened. She replied it was nothing, but she just got a little injured while completing a mission. Ning Feng asked why she didn't get it treated. She replied she did get it treated, but still, since it was an S-rank mission, the damage from the boss monster wasn't low and she'll need time to recover. Ning Feng didn't know S-rank missions were this difficult for others. Then his phone rang, and when picked up, someone on phone asked Ning Feng in a harsh tone about where did he get that emblem. Ning Feng just hung up while Wang Yu asked him what was the matter. Ning Feng told her that some guy with a very harsh tone asked him where he got the emblem from. Wang Yu could swear she didn't tell that to anyone outside, but Ning Feng didn't care and said they should just eat. Ning Feng got called again, and when picked, the same man shouted at him not to dare hang up on him again, or he'll pay for it. Ning Feng didn't like that guy being so loud with Wang Yu nearby, so he just hung up again. After the dinner, he enjoyed himself, and Wang Yu asked him if he needed her to walk him home. Ning told her not to worry since it was just a harassing call, and with that he bid farewell for the day. Later in the night, Ning Feng arrived at his apartment, and as he entered the room, all lazy with his guard down, he was astonished by the messed up scene of his room. Then a guy in adventurer's armor came out saying finally Ning Feng was here. Ning Feng asked the man if he was the one who called him, to which the blonde assassin agreed and said he was here to punish Ning Feng for not answering honestly. Ning Feng asked the man who sent him here, but the blonde assassin just called Ning a piece of trash and said he should show some manners to strong ones. Another assassin attacked out of nowhere at Ning Feng, but to his surprise, Ning Feng just dodged it effortlessly and throwed elbow jab to the assassin's face. The assassin's weapon dropped and he was dealt with just one hit. The blonde assassin feared for his life after seeing what just happened, while our boy returned the line of blonde to him to show respect to strong ones. The blonde was terrified as he only heard the target was a one-star professional adventurer, and that too a mage, so it was just not possible for Ning Feng to defeat a 3-star assassin bare-handed. The blonde was about to throw a shuriken, while Ning Feng was still getting accustomed to his increased speed and reaction. Now he could handle many situations without even using spells. Ning Feng dodged the incoming shuriken by moving his head to the right, and the blonde was so scared that he tried to escape since the situation wasn't good for him. But when he thought the window was just there and he'd make it out safely, Ning Feng caught his lay and caused the blonde assassin to hit his face in the wall. Ning Feng told the man to clean up the mess he caused, and not just that, but also compensate for the broken stuff. The assassins surrendered everything they had to Ning Feng, after which Ning Feng asked them who sent them. The blonde replied it was Zhao Cheng who sent him here, and apparently he wanted something like a unique emblem that could be found anywhere other than Ning Feng. Ning Feng remembered Zhao Cheng from Wang Yu's party, and now since that guy was the first one to make his move against Ning Feng planned on getting back at him. He got just the right forbidden skill that he hasn't used yet, so now Ning Feng was about to use the skill, Mind Disruption, that allows him to control the target's mind and act like his clone. Ning Feng used this skill on those assassins and took control over their minds. Meanwhile, Zhao Cheng was waiting for those assassins to come to the rendezvous point, and since it was taking so long, he figured they should go elsewhere to have some fun. One of the party members asked Zhao Cheng what about the emblem search, to which he replied that he sent someone to find Ning Feng, and if Ning Feng didn't cooperate, he would experience a painful death. The other guy asked him what if Wang Yu found out about this, Zhao Cheng didn't care about that, and he very much preferred she would stop wasting her time on trash like Ning Feng. The other guy agreed and mentioned how during Wang Yu's S-rank quest, he and Zhao Cheng intentionally let Wang Yu be hurt by the boss to remind her how much she needs them to protect her. Zhao Cheng ultimately thought she'll get back to her senses after injury, but she was more reckless than he thought. At the same time, both of them were startled by a shadow appearing before them. Zhao Cheng saw it was the assassin he hired and asked him if he got any information. But unexpectedly, the assassin asked Zhao Cheng if he heard right about him causing Wang Yu's injury. Zhao Cheng and the other guy were surprised to hear that, and he warned the assassin not to interfere in his affairs. But without any warning, the assassin, controlled by Ning Feng, launched fatal strikes at both of them, then raised them by the neck. Ning Feng made it clear that anyone who harms Wang Yu does not deserve to live in this world, so you would make sure they die a painful death. Ning Feng inflicted both of them with painfully enormous amounts of dark energy, and he made them experience a much more painful death than any normal adventurer would have. After they perished to ashes, Ning Feng did the same with the assassin's body and made sure not to leave any evidence behind. However, after this incident, he figured it was really dangerous for him to live in an ordinary neighborhood where anyone could come and target him. Ning Feng didn't mean to be scared of anyone, but still he can't stay home all the time and his stuff might be unsafe. Ning Feng was currently planning on organizing some important things based on the memories of the Demon Lord, and it was fortunate that he hadn't started yet, otherwise in this incident it might have been exposed. Ning Feng decided to move to Darius' place, since it would be perfect as nobody would dare barge in the house of a fourth transformation powerhouse. He went to Darius and told him about what happened, and Darius was bursting with anger after hearing that someone dared to attack his boss. He told Ning Feng to rest while he made sure there won't be anyone else left to cause trouble for him again. Ning Feng told him there was no need to hurry and he had something else to ask of him. He asked Darius if he knows any reliable alchemists. Darius asked what requirements should that alchemist have. Ning Feng replied that the higher the skill level, the better it would be, but it should be a trustworthy person. Darius mentioned he did know of many alchemists, but they have already joined large guilds, which according to Ning Feng wouldn't be very suitable for keeping the secrets he was planning to share. Ning Feng recalled from the memories he absorbed that the Demon Lord once killed some high-level alchemists, and the potions brewed by those alchemists of the future were more advanced than the current world. Ning Feng could recall the prescriptions from memories and planned to discuss it with a professional. However, alchemists in guilds were not free to act, and the risk of information leaks was higher, which would only attract more bugs like before. Ning Feng didn't want to attract any more troublemakers, so he just told Darius to keep an eye out for a suitable alchemist meeting his criteria. Next day, he asked Wang Yu about it, and she replied that she does know a reliable alchemist. Ning Feng didn't expect to find someone so quick, and Wang Yu stated that the cleric of her team, Xu Ting, had a brother who was a very good alchemist and was planning to join Wang Yu's guild. But it didn't work out because he didn't get along with Zhao Cheng. Ning Feng felt a bit relaxed after taking care of a major issue for Wang Yu by killing that bastard, and now she won't be troubled in future. Wang Yu asked him why he needed an alchemist, to which he replied that he just found some prescriptions at home and wanted someone to help him look at them. Wang Yu obviously didn't believe this home excuse again, while Ning Feng just said he did come across one while cleaning. Either way, she arranged the meeting with that alchemist for Ning Feng. Later, Ning Feng went to that alchemist's home and introduced himself. The alchemist introduced himself as Su Wei, and he wanted to take a look at Ning Feng's prescription. Meanwhile, in the house's garden, the cleric, Xu Ting, was mad because she wanted to get closer to Ning Feng, but her older brother kicked her out. At the same time, Ning Feng was getting the prescription checked, and Su Wei assessed the ingredients didn't look that particularly special, but the refining method was new to him, and it seemed quite complex as well. Xu Wei asked Ning Feng if he knew what this potion does, to which Ning Feng replied it was sent to increase experience gained by 100%. Xu Wei was shocked to hear that because even the most expensive potions in the market only provide 40% increase, and if this potion really increases it by 100%, even 1 or 2 star professionals would be able to level up quickly. Ning Feng just nodded vaguely and said that was why he came to consult him. Xu Wei asked him to wait while he went upstairs and conducted an experiment. Before that, he asked Xu Ting to come inside and serve tea to the guests. After that, Ning Feng was sitting with Xu Ting and Wang Yu, when suddenly he heard the loud noises from Su Wei's room upstairs. The three wondered what happened above, and Xu Ting decided to go and check. She came across the sight of a slime that her brother uses for experiments, and it seems to be running for his life. Right then, the slime was killed by some spell, and the three were confused about what was going on. When they entered the room, they saw Xu Wei jumping around happily like a crazy man, and he said the potion really worked and had a 100% increase in experience. His excitement puzzled the girls since they didn't know what he meant, while Su Wei explained to Ning Feng that his potion really worked. Ning Feng was happy inside, as it means if this potion worked, other ones from his memory would work as well. Tu Wei shot a couple more fireballs to kill slimes, and Su Ting was surprised at the mess in this lab, since her brother usually treasures his lab so much even though she wasn't allowed to come in here. After that, Satu Wei explained the whole thing to girls, and they couldn't believe the outcome of this potion was really 100%. Ning Feng smiled to see the expected reaction, whereas Su Wei told them to keep their voices down and keep this a secret. Su Wei asked Ning Feng what he was planning to do next, as he could make an unimaginable fortune by selling this, especially considering the dangerous times these days. Ning Feng thought deeply about this, then he got a message and decided to check it. It was from Teacher Chai, announcing to students that the school was planning to take all the senior students for leveling up. Students were eager to level up since the college entrance exams were coming closer. Ning Feng was planning to start using the experience potion for his own people first, then sell them after some time in the market. Xu Ting asked if she was also one of his own people, to which he nodded, which made her all happy and hard to sit idle. Ning Feng knew if this hits the market, it will definitely cause a sensation, and those who seek huge profits will definitely come like flies like Zhao Cheng. So to deal with that situation, Ning Feng planned to have support first, since he would have to be ready to out-trick anyone who dared to play dirty tricks on him. Ning Feng added they could also bring along the berserker, Jiang Shu from Wang Yu's party, hearing which they were thrilled to share it, since that guy was worried he might not catch up enough to join the same university as Wang Yu and Xu Ting. Ning Feng considered him because he was nice to Wang Yu. Then the alchemist Xu Wei asked Ning Feng, referring to him as boss, if he got any other prescriptions. Ning Feng agreed and gave him other prescriptions, and Xu Wei mentioned he hadn't even heard of the names of many ingredients listed in it. And as for some of them, he can't make them at his current level. Ning Feng figured these prescriptions were from another world, so just being able to use a few of them was good enough. Wang Yu planned to go to leveling up together, and of course she asked our boy to make sure to be there as well. Ning Feng asked her why, and she just told him to come no matter what, after which everyone just went on talking about the level up mission like some trip. Ning Feng wished they could have asked for his opinion first, but he had no other choice now. On Monday, Ning Feng arrived at the meet-up location on time, and Wang Yu was coming with others. In the middle of that, a bus passed by the road, and inside there were Ning Feng's classmates, who were making fun of him for not showing up to level up along with others. They mocked him, saying nobody would even want to go along with him in the first place. The bus just passed by, and Ning Feng didn't care since he already had his own plans. Later at the dungeon entrance, many students from other schools have arrived as well, and the students with Teacher Chai saw many people here. Students asked when they could go inside the gate, to which she replied it might take around 2 hours. Students asked why they waited so long. Teacher Chai explained that they were in the second class, so they'll have to wait for the first class to finish their turns. At the same time, one of the students saw Ning Feng ahead, and they didn't expect to see him with the genius Wang Yu, along with other cool-looking adventurers. Not just that, but Ning Feng's party was also going inside the dungeon right away, as if they had this privilege to not wait in line. Students asked why behind it, to which Teacher Qi replied that Ning Feng seems to be leading the guild, so they were probably heading straight to the depth of the dungeon. Others were jealous to see a guy like Ning Feng, who even a small monster could crush, was daring to go to deeper parts of the Lion Guild and the entitled genius goddess Wang Yu. Just then, someone asked him if he just took the name of Wang Yu, who was ranked 5th on the National Rising Stars list. The student confirmed it, and the bystander passed the group with his party, claiming that they seemed to have come to the right place. The man, along with his flashy armor and strong-looking party, went straight to the gate, and they were allowed to enter right away as well. The student from Teacher Q's group was pissed at another privilege just passing by like that a female student asked if he didn't recognize that party just now. She mentioned that the party contained other rising stars just like Wang Yu. Their members started with the 4th-ranked Aurelia Autumn, 3rd-ranked Rick Lee, and lastly, a 2nd-ranked rising star, Ethan, the leader of that party. Later, deep in the dungeon, Ning Feng's party was preparing, and Jiang Shu was surprised when he saw the 100% experience bonus potion. Xu Ting hit him to be quiet, and Jiang Shu asked Xu Wei if this potion wasn't very expensive. Xu Wei replied it wasn't too expensive to make, and that was one more thing that made it so awesome. He mentioned that Ning Feng could easily become a guest of honor in any top guild with this potion. Jiang Shu became one of Ning Feng's admirers like Xu Ting, and he modestly asked them not to be so polite. Wang Yu was happy to see Ning Feng making new friends since he wasn't very good at socializing and had very few friends. She was happy for him, especially after all he went through since failing his first awakening at 16. Wang Yu had been worried for him from the sides, and to see him chatting so happily, she hoped he could pick himself up from the sad past. Now she called for everyone's attention and told everyone to ensure their safety during the battles. She told Ning Feng especially to avoid attracting the attention of monsters. While she will handle the monsters, Jiang Shu will focus on tanking, and Su Ting will focus on buffs and protective skills, whereas Su Wei will use positions as needed. Everyone got the plan while Ning Feng was thinking this was a slow way of leveling up, but he had to go along with it for the meantime. He figured that he could just level up quickly with forbidden spells, so he doesn't have to rush or anything right now and observe others' strength. Now Wang Yu initiated the fights with her light arrow, which caught the attention of zombies and they dashed straight towards her direction. As the zombies came charging, Su Ting casted a buff spell on Jiang Shu, and he unleashed a powerful ground-shattering strike that took down a bunch of zombies at once. Su Wei followed up with throwing in explosive potions at the zombies, and he could feel the rapid increase in experience points. He was enticed to quickly level up to be able to craft new potions soon. Jiang Shu and Su Ting, on the other hand, were happy that they will be able to reach their second transformation quickly and get into a top university like Wang Yu. Just then, the sound of busting laughter came from nearby, hearing Jiang Shu ask who was there. It was then Ethan, the guy in flashy armor from another party, came and claimed he just couldn't hold his laughter upon hearing such simple things. He seems to have followed Wang Yu's party till here, and now he made fun of them, thinking the second transformation would be so easy for weaklings like them. Su Ting recognized these guys were from the National Rising Stars list, and Ethan boasted it was common for him to be recognized easily by his fame. Jiang Shu wondered why those guys were here, since they were not from Chandler City. Wang Yu stepped forward boldly and asked directly if they needed anything from them. Ethan replied that they came specially to find Wang Yu and asked if she was interested in joining their team. It wasn't a small offer, but Wang Yu just turned it down because she liked her own team more. Ethan mentioned that even though Wang Yu's team has a mage ranked 14 on the National Rising Stars list, she could come with that guy as well. Wang Yu made it clear that she didn't want to join any other guild, after which Ethan what was so great in a small place like Chandler City for her. He explained that with the increase of dungeon invasions, the monsters were becoming difficult to deal with every day, so the top 3 universities have raised their assessment standards. And this year, they'll be only recruiting elite teams or individuals, with very favorable conditions in their premises. So Ethan wanted her to know what a rare opportunity this was, since joining his team would mean a confirmed spot in a top university. He told her not to forget she was destined to become strong, whereas the rest of her team didn't seem to have a good future at all. He claimed that weakness was the greatest sin, so he disliked weaklings like those. Wang Yu was about to reach for her bow, but Ethan warned her to think twice before fighting him, since his skills would damage a wide area and get the weak ones involved as well. Su Ting told her they should ignore them and level up somewhere else. Wang Yu figured it would be right, so she walked off from there, while Ning Feng thought this guy was really overestimating himself, as Wang Yu was currently strong enough after hidden class to beat him easily. It was then the big guy from Ethan's team stepped in front of Ning Feng and asked if he was Zhao Cheng. Ning Feng denied it, in which case the big guy told him to get lost. Ning Feng was offended by his attitude, but then Jiang Shu stepped in and told the big guy he was going too far. The big guy, Rick Lee, tried to intimidate Jiang Shu with his power, and out of nowhere he launched an attack at him. Jiang Shu crossed his forearms to block the punch, but despite that, the punch was too strong for him to block completely. Wang Yu was worried as a fight just broke out, and before she intervened, Ethan blocked her path. She told him to get lost, which pissed off Ethan as it hurt his pride. It was then Jiang Shu told Wang Yu from a distance that he was fine, she didn't have to come. But in reality, it seems he broke a few ribs and could tell this Rick guy went too far on purpose. Jiang Shu asked Ning Feng to step back to not get hurt. Now Rick mocked Jiang Shu with a thumbs down, and Jiang Shu tried to punch him back in anger, but Rick was still faster and was to land another blow. Wang Yu and Su Ting were trying their best to help him, but they couldn't make it in time. However, someone did make it in time and stopped the big guy Rick Lee with a counter punch. It was none other than our boy, who decided to finally make his move and made a grand entry. Wang Yu, Su Wei, Su Ting, and even the opponent's party was shocked at this sight, as a weak guy just blocked the punch from a powerhouse like Rick. Rick, on the other hand, couldn't believe it was happening for real, and he couldn't move at all against this tiny guy dressed as a mage but having much superior strength to him. Ning Feng just held onto Rick's hand and threw him away like a toy, and the big guy couldn't help but scream in pain and be tossed around just like that. Ning Feng threw the guy back where he came from, and he wasn't stopped until he hit a rock pillar. This time, our boy called him a useless fellow, and instead of Wang Yu, it was Ethan this time who ran to assist his party member. However, Wang Yu shot an arrow straight up in his butt, leaving him unable to sit for some time. Su Ting chuckled at the sight, while Aurelia Autumn from the opponent party felt pity for the poor guy. She couldn't comprehend how a mage could defeat a berserker with bare hands, and an archer shot a tank in close combat. Ning Feng didn't really want to expose his hand and keep a low profile, but now he figured he'll have to, so he just became serious and firstly asked Su Ting to heal Jiang Shu. She went and cast a healing on him, and Ning Feng asked Jiang Shu how he thinks he can deal with that Rick guy from earlier. Jiang Shu replied he didn't know for sure, so he would just follow what Ning Feng ordered. Ning Feng noticed everyone's attitude suddenly became respectful towards him, in which case he casually asked Jiang Shu to go and take the equipment of opponents as compensation. Ethan called it a robbery and tried opposing it, but suddenly a punch shattered the ground right an inch in front of him. It was done by our boy to intimidate him, and it worked like a charm, as the firstly violent guy now requested him to take his equipment. Ning Feng told him to consider himself lucky, because he prefers to avoid trouble usually, but if he finds out Ethan retaliates later on, it won't end well. Ethan understood the threat and claimed it was his own fault for acting all high and mighty earlier. Unexpectedly, Aurelia Autumn was very cooperative and handed over her equipment in advance. Ning Feng called her sensible, and told others they should keep on advancing to level up, leaving Aurelia all flustered with no response. Ning Feng and the party went ahead, and they stopped by a place when Wang Yu mentioned not expecting Ning Feng to be so powerful. Ning Feng replied he didn't want to show off since he just awakened recently. Wang Yu got mad about him not telling her about this until now, and she didn't feel like asking it either since she knew he would just shrug it off. Ning Feng smiled as she understood him the best, and that aside, Wang Yu placed a hand on his shoulder and told him she was happy for him no matter what. Ning Feng could feel she was genuinely happy for him, so he just accepted her praise with a thumbs up. Whereas Jiang Shu and Xu Ting admired him even more and wished to know which university he was planning to join. Ning Feng replied he hadn't thought about it yet, and they assured he don't have to be hasty in decisions like this. Xu Wei tried to join the conversation, but the other two's enthusiasm was so much that he couldn't join. Meanwhile, Ning Feng thought that since university and guild were both places with strict regulations, it was easy to accidentally reveal secrets there, so he'd rather just not join either of them. Now he ordered the party to head deeper into the dungeon and speed up the leveling process. Ning Feng liked to be the one leading the way this time, and although he can't use forbidden skills, he could still beat monsters with just his crazy attributes. Next day, Ning Feng returned to Darius's home, and he was extremely tired after working so much only to level up by one, that too with the potion in use. Ning Feng has gotten so used to leveling up with forbidden spells and killing high-level monsters that he forgot this was the normal pacing for everyone else. He recalled that usually a supernova could reach level 60 and complete a second transformation in 2 years like Wang Yu, while others who were ordinary would just settle for regular universities. Ning Feng's brain was getting tired from too much thinking, and now he planned on just relaxing and lazing around for a few days. All day he enjoyed playing games with Darius, sleeping after reading manga, and sometimes having a barbecue. One day, he got a call from Yang Xin. She informed him there was an auction coming up and it was expected to have some great items. Also, the new manager Tang wanted to know if Ning would be attending it. Ning Feng figured he didn't have much going on, so he might as well go and take a look. He wondered if the services of these trade posts were always this good, or was it this new manager who knew how to deal with people better? After that, he went to the trading post and he was provided to sit in a calm area. The new manager Tang Yakai and Yang Xin came to greet Ning Feng, and he was honored to meet Ning. Tang recalls the mayor asked him to specially serve this boy well, even if the entire exchange needs to revolve around him. Tang asked Yang Xin to show the catalog to Ning, and Ning Feng looked through the items but only saw some equipment and potions which won't be of use to him. He just scrolled for a while, which surprised manager Tang as he could tell Ning Feng didn't like anything he saw on top. Suddenly, Ning Feng's expression turned cold as he asked what was in the list. Tang checked and remarked he got a good eye, as this item was an experience boost potion which can increase the rate by 100%. Ning Feng recalls that he only shared this potion's secret with Xu Wei, and Darius also knew that Boss was the one to develop it. Manager Tang was caught off guard by that, then Ning Feng asked him where he got this from. Manager Tang replied that this item was apparently auctioned by the Emerald Serpent Guild's trading post. Ning Feng recalls this Emerald Serpent Guild was one of the nation's top 7 guilds with immense power. He wondered if Xu Wei secretly sold the formula to them, or did they do something to get it? Ning Feng asked Tang if he knew where they got this potion from. Tang replied that the Emerald Serpent Guild discovered a new type of dungeon called the Trial of the Gods, which could only be cleared solo. It has many levels to clear, and there are rewards at every 10 levels of trials. Among those rewards, the recipe for the potion was one also received from completing trials. It was Darius' first time hearing of such a dungeon, while Ning Feng figured it was fine as long as Xu Wei was fine. However, this Trial of Gods sounds intriguing to him, and suddenly a quest by the system was announced for him, telling him to harness the power of this Trial of Gods for himself. Otherwise, if he failed, it would lead to his death. Ning Feng smirked as this was the first time the system issued a quest, which means this Trial of Gods must really be something special. Ning Feng told Tang he won't be attending this auction, but he did appreciate the efforts made by him. Tang didn't expect Ning Feng to not be interested even in this super rare item like this 100% boost potion. Now, Darius told the boss to take his seat and he'll get the information on this dungeon, but Ning Feng decided to go as well. For some time, they stopped by to check information online, and the information seems to be confidential and not accessible. Darius then used the special card given to him by Mayor Zhang, which worked like a charm, and they saw this mysterious dungeon look like a tower, and the Emerald Serpent Guild had registered an exclusive right to it, meaning without their permission, no outsider was allowed to enter. Ning Feng doesn't think he'll be able to just go like that, but he can't avoid it since the failure of this mission would lead to his death. Later, he decided to pay a visit to this dungeon to check it out himself, and here he saw guards stationed to manage who enters. Ning Feng kept walking towards the gate and used his skills to hide his presence. After that, he just took spatial steps to directly enter the gate with guards not even noticing one bit. But after he entered the dungeon, sometime later, a huge explosion occurred and even Ning Feng was in trouble after the scene happened inside. Meanwhile, the guards were thrown off by the impact of an explosion coming from the dungeon, and they decided to report immediately to the guild. Later that night, Ning Feng finally made his way out with the teleportation spell and he landed in the bed all injured and defeated. He doesn't understand what just happened, because as soon as he entered the dungeon, a surge of powerful energy burst forth and completely shattered his foul defense. Ning Feng was trying to understand what was that, and whatever it was, it also caused damage to the system, which kept increasing as the system was still calculating the damages. Meanwhile, at the dungeon, the support arrived and a healer was healing the injured guards. He informed the guild master that guards were only stunned and were unharmed. When the guard regained consciousness, he told the guild master, Noah from the Emerald Serpent Guild, that he had just passed out from the explosion. Noah wondered if the secret realm had undergone some kind of change, in which case the person behind the guild master believed he would have to take a look with that skill. Noah gave her the signal, and she activated her rare skill, Time Reversal. Noah uses this skill when they need to record images or moments of the past. The blonde mage activated the window to see in the past, and Noah was astonished when he saw a black figure filled with enormous dark power around it. This dark presence soon confronted a very bright deity, who dared at the Dark One for entering his territory. The radiant deity then charged in an insanely powerful light spell which overwhelmed the evil deity. Noah and his subordinates were perplexed upon the discovery of this evil deity, and they saw ahead that the gods seemed to have missed killing that evil spirit. He wanted to stop the evil deity so it won't destroy the world. Noah and others obviously didn't take it lightly as it meant to destroy the world. After that, Noah took the images of this evil deity to the council of all the guilds, and although the identity of this existence was unknown, the spells released by that evil deity were powerful enough to be forbidden. The old man in gold armor was the guild master of Mighty Universe Guild, Luke Johnson. The guild masters of Honor Guild, Faye Ark, and guild master of Emerald Serpent Guild, Noah, recall that the one who passed this trial of gods will receive deity's recognition and blessings, but they never expected to see a literal evil deity to appear. Then the guildmaster of Dawnbringers, Evelyn, stated the key issue here was that even the forbidden spells couldn't destroy this evil deity, which wasn't good news for them. The guildmaster of Celestial Guild, Luna Serene, stated if this evil deity plans to destroy the world, it might not have a way to stop it. Lord Rook from the Vanguard Guild hinted they might be able to achieve a way to deal with it if they passed the trial of gods. Logan from Inferno Guild liked the idea and thought it was worth a try. Noah thought these guys must have been eyeing for this moment for him to open up this dungeon for them. Noah didn't oppose anyone wanting to participate in this trial, but he reminded them that the monsters in there won't be easy to deal with even for guild masters. So in simple words, he stated none of them were qualified for this trial of gods yet. Luke asked the last person on the other end of the table, Ragnar Blaze, about what he thought. The old man mocked what else he could think, other than how incompetent everyone here was. Luke could tell Ragnar Blaze, or Old Feng, was mad for being called here and told him they had to because of this major incident. Ragnar Blaze stated it was obvious why he was mad, because everyone in Lone Shadow had been avoiding all these disasters happening in a small city like Chandor, and if this mysterious big shot didn't help out, they would be guilty of harming the innocent and cleaning bodies right now. This man fired a Ghost Rider-like skull. Ragnar Blaze was the former leader of Lone Shadow Organization, and Luke told him to calm down as his head was getting hot on fire again. The story behind this old man's burning Ghost Rider head is that he was said to have paid a significant price to use a lot of power of darkness to save a whole city from monsters, after which he retired due to his inactivity from injuries. Luke asked Ragnar Blaze if he could show this footage to the mysterious big shot somehow. Ragnar Blaze angered them to only now take some real action, and since it was necessary, he gave in to do this task for them and turned his head back to normal. Meanwhile, at Darius' home, Ning Feng was just looking at the window, telling him that he'll have to reach a second transformation to repair the system. He wondered if he did something wrong by entering that dungeon trial of gods and proceeded to walk to the living room. There he saw an old man sitting along with Darius and Kuang Lan. Old man figured this young boy must be Ning Feng, but Ning Feng can't recall who this grandpa was. Darius introduced him as the former leader of the Lone Shadow organization and also the current director of the Adventures Association, Mr. Feng, also known with the title Ragnar Blaze. And as for the lady, she was Kuang Lan, Old Feng's disciple and current head of this region's Lone Shadow post. Their purpose to come here was to seek help from the mysterious Big Shot. Ning Feng had heard of the infamous Crimson Death God, but the Old Feng claimed it was just an empty title not worth mentioning. However, Ning Feng knew how much weight that title carried, since Old Feng had numerous achievements of participating in many big dungeon explorations. He was so famous that one would feel lucky to just meet him for one time. Now, Old Feng presented a gift he bought for their first meeting, which contained 5 million crystal coins and 200 bottles of high-tier experience potions for Ning Feng. Ning Feng felt quite generous for that much amount, but he needed to know exactly what brought him here. Kuang Lan played out a video device and said they came here to show the Big Shot. It was the video recorded from time when Ning Feng encountered a deity in the secret realm, and he was quite shocked after seeing himself being framed as the evil deity. He didn't understand how he could become an evil god, and now that he recalls, the system said his new mission was no big deal. He felt like the system itself was trying to trap him, but now wasn't the time to show it on the face, because he needed to make use of this situation since they didn't know he was the evil god. Ning Feng claimed to understand their purpose and promised he'll inform the Big Shot about the video and make sure to update them later. Old Feng thanked him for the efforts, and now they figured it was time to head back and wait for the good news. Ning Feng received the contact card from Kuang Lan, and he recalled she was the same lady who was in charge of his first job change before. Ning Feng now understands how he was exposed so quickly to Teacher Kai. Later, Old Feng remarked Ning Feng was indeed as polite, modest, and a good person as Kuang Lan said, and if possible, he would prefer recruiting him with every effort. Kuang Lan asked the master if he thought Ning Feng and the Big Shot were the same person, but Old Feng asked if that really matters since it seems Ning Feng wished to be seen as only a student, so they should perceive him as one, which will be good for everyone. He hoped that this mysterious Big Shot could become their strongest support against the increasing enemies. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was still receiving the system alerts that it prevented some damage, which he thinks might be that deity trying to track his whereabouts. Ning Feng recalled that deity was strong enough to shatter his absolute defense with one move, so it was obvious that was strong enough to be a forbidden-level spell, making him a dangerous foe. Now Ning Feng has made it his priority to complete the 2 tasks assigned by the system, to harness the power of the Trial of Gods for himself and reach transformation. Ning Feng figured it was also necessary to get that power, since if anyone else gets it, they might pose a threat to him in future. He asked Darius if Old Feng gave any other information, and Darius organized all the information for him right away. It contained the internal structure of this Trial of Gods dungeon, which resembled a tower with many levels. The number of total floors was still unknown because it was not conquered yet, and it was said the monsters inside were formidable, far surpassing those in other known dungeons. Currently, it was explored till floor 42, and this record was set by the leader of Emerald Serpent Guild, Noah. Ning Feng knew if he risks entering it again, his identity might be exposed this time, so he wonders what if he just delegates this mission to someone under him, as it would technically mean the power will be harnessed by him. Ning Feng asked Darius if he had seen the video of Noah clearing the floors, to which he agreed, and Ning Feng asked him what he thought about how many levels he could reach. Darius replied he could clear around 35 floors, and Ning Feng contemplated that Noah was near the 5th transformation, so he was stronger than Darius. Ning Feng wanted Darius to go and clear that trial since he was one of his own people, so he thought what if he just prepared Darius for a special training session. Back at Old Feng's house, he was embezzled when he heard that the mysterious Big Shot wanted to send someone for the Trial of Gods. Kuang Lan added that Darius additionally requested to borrow the training room to undergo a special training. Old Ning recalls that Darius hasn't reached the 5th transformation yet, so it was going to be interesting to see what change this special training under boss will have on him. He mentioned that just yesterday the guild leaders went to challenge the Trial of Gods, but even Luke didn't succeed. Kuang Lan was surprised since Luke was one of the nation's strongest people, so even if he didn't succeed, there was hardly anyone who could. Now Old Feng was so excited to see Darius's results that his head fired up again, showing his interest overflowing on seeing just how far a person trained by the mysterious boss could go. Old Feng tried to control the flames again, while Kuang Lan recalled this flame on the old man was the price he bears and it was constantly burning away in his life. She was worried if there was really no way to alleviate it. Later, Darius and Ning Feng were called by Old Feng to the training room, and other workers from the Lone Shadow were eager to see these 4th and 5th powerhouses here. The guy with red hair was the man who was examiner on Ning Feng's awakening day, and he was glad that he didn't offend him that day in anger, otherwise he would be in trouble right now. Now, Kuang Lan stated this special training room was only accessible to fourth transformations and above. Darius provided the data drive for details of the settings that he'll need in the training room to Kuang Lan, while Ning Feng and Ragnar Blaze chatted a bit. Kuang Lan was amazed when she saw the information about monsters was very much precise in the disc, along with their weaknesses. Ning Feng could easily know that information, since he had memories of the future invasion and just needed to bring out information from mind. Old Feng was interested, so he asked Darius if he could observe him for a bit. Darius gladly accepted and felt grateful to be under Old Feng's guidance. Old Feng remarked he was here to learn, not to instruct. He was also eager to find out something, to know if that mysterious boss ever said if that evil deity would actually destroy the world. Kuang Lan was caught off guard by the question Old Feng asked, and they waited eagerly for Darius' response. Although Darius had already talked about this before with Ning Feng, he was feeling a bit tongue-tied, since he was himself this evil deity in question. He decided to tell Darius more than just a no, but without explaining too much as well. The answer that Darius got from him that time, Darius repeated the same and replied to Old Feng that his boss just said 8 words in response. Old Feng asked what those were, and the mysterious boss said, "As long as I'm here, it won't happen." Darius said it word to word, and Old Feng liked the boss's style of answering things. Kuang Lan wondered just what kind of powerhouse this boss was to not consider even a deity as a threat. But little did they know, Ning Feng was just being casual with everything and doing whatever he liked. Now the training room was prepared, and Old Feng wished good luck to Darius for the trial of gods. After a while in the training room, they saw Darius starting to kick around the bucket as the monsters in training became significantly stronger. However, Darius was far from giving up, and he concentrated harder on the incoming trajectory of monsters. He managed to take them out with an outburst of magical energy, which left him visibly tired. Ning Feng asked if he wanted to rest for a bit, but Darius was hell-bent on trying further after catching a few breaths there. He didn't want to let his boss down and use this opportunity to the fullest. Kuang Lan was astonished at Darius' performance because even she couldn't clear so many levels like that. Old Feng recalls hearing that Ning Feng awakened at 18, but he completed First Awakening in just a few days. He wondered if he could do that miracle. Maybe a miracle could happen to Darius as well, since he was under his guidance as well. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was thinking that even if he simplified the monster's weaknesses, he overlooked that people do have limits, and Darius was reaching his limits right now. He realized that if Darius can't pass this trial, then he will have to complete it himself, so he needs to overcome his lack of combat experience, as all he knows right now were forbidden spells which could get him in trouble instead. Ning Feng said he'll go back for now, since he'll have to prepare something for school. Ragnar Blaze nodded and told him to let them know if he needs any help. Ning Feng heads out to level up himself before the school starts, and he might as well get some powerful skills or equipment for Darius. He stopped in an isolated street, where Ning Feng took out the flying scroll to reach his destination without being seen. He managed to buy a batch of flight scrolls from the trade post, which he figured will be enough for now. Ning Feng flew straight off to another dungeon to level up, and as he stood before the entrance, he recalled this was one of the 2 unregistered secret realms that Darius mentioned before. However, he doesn't get why there were signs of battle around the gate. Ning Feng just decided to go inside and just take a look for himself. Meanwhile, inside this dungeon, some demons were trampling over adventurers who entered this dungeon before. One of them asked the boss if he just saw a light that looks like the flying scroll. The boss replied it must be another fool who came here to exterminate them. Other demon subordinates laughed it off as they believed whoever it was, they were just marching to their deaths. Their boss stated it was fine, as the more they hunt down, the more they could offer to their demon lord later. It was thanks to these adventurers, these demons have managed to amass enough power that will finally succeed in the descending of the demon lord. All the demons hailed cheers to the upcoming of their demon lord, whereas through a tracker on one of the dead adventurers, their subordinate hiding around the area was listening to everything. She informed her other subordinates that things don't look good, as it seems there's going to be another dungeon invasion from another demon lord, and that was going to happen right today on this mountain. The party leader grew worried, as it means their city, which was closest from here, will be the first one to fall under the hands of demons. The captain thought with a straight mind and made a rational decision to retreat from here because they can't stop this invasion with their party alone. He had a gist. These monsters were too powerful, and even the city's barrier might not be able to hold them back. He told the party members to quickly go back and quickly report the authorities to immediately evacuate the people and save as many as they could. The party members noticed the leader doesn't seem to be going back, and when asked why, the leader replied that someone will have to stay to keep an eye on the enemy's actions until the exact time of invasion. So he decided to stay here himself and report back to others for transmission. His subordinates didn't want to leave him here alone, but the leader had made up his mind and ordered others to leave immediately. They ran back right away to report back as soon as possible, while the captain looked at the sky, thinking he might not be going back home this time. He called his kid and told her with a smile that he will be busy in some emergency, so she will just have to listen to what mommy says. His daughter asked him where he was, to which he just replied, "Daddy's at work, and he'll be a bit busy and have to go now." He hung up the phone to not fall weak to emotions, but when the daughter called him again, he picked up and she asked why did Dad hang up before she finished talking. He asked her what else she wanted to say, and she wished him a very happy birthday. It's something that could make any grown man cry, and the man returned to fulfill his duty, whereas his subordinates were going as fast as possible so they could come back faster as well. They were worried for the captain, while their captain was in tears because he wanted to see his family one last time. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, the demon lord's followers just finished their offerings to the Lord and hoped the Lord would bestow them with more dark power. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was inside the secret realm leveling up by defeating monsters. He ended up finding an ice spell frost arrow, which converted into the forbidden spell that allowed him to summon an endless ice disaster with merciless cold. Ning Feng was enjoying it here, since the experience points gain of monster tier was higher, and he leveled up to 37 in no time. Ning Feng didn't notice the still alive demon in ice beside him yet and got busy checking out another skill book he got. Later, when he was going outside the secret realm, the demon lord's followers just arrived, and they thought the demon lord was coming from the entrance, so they bowed down to the gate. However, they were left puzzled when Ning Feng came out of the dungeon instead. Ning Feng also didn't expect more monsters outside the realm, and he was startled by the sudden confrontation. The demons questioned him about the demon lord, but little did they know the demon trapped in Ning Feng's ice attack was the demon lord itself, frozen in place and barely alive. The demons assessed this guy seems to be an outsider, in which case he commended how he came here alone. The demon thought you must be the one who came here before with the flight scroll, and perhaps he could be one of those seeking to pledge allegiance to the demon lord for dark energy. He straight up asked Ning Feng if he came to join the demon lord, and Ning Feng straight up denied it on their face and said his business was none of their business. The demon asked our boy if he even knew who he was. The demon introduced himself as Gurong, an A-rank demon who killed over 200 adventurers till now. Ning Feng was annoyed by all the yapping and told the demon to just fight if he wants to but not waste his time. Gurong grew extremely pissed and threatened to kill Ning Feng now. Other demons also wished to kill him, but while they were preparing, the sky above their heads turned darker and darker as Ning Feng unleashed his dark power to overwhelm the enemy with fear. The demons didn't understand the hell was that, but little did they know it was one of Ning Feng's newly learned forbidden spells, Dominating Vision, which traps enemies in an illusion and reveals all their weaknesses. Ning Feng could see all the weak points of the demon, and the major one of them was his shoulder injury. Ning Feng could see the potential of this skill, and he directly threw a jab to the demon's shoulder. In this illusion, Ning Feng could repeatedly target the trapped enemy's weaknesses and torment them like a helpless prey under his dominating vision. Meanwhile, further down the mountains, the captain who remained behind to keep an eye on invasion was finding it strange, as there were no signs of invasion anymore. He planned to go closer and look it up, as he doesn't care about dying anymore because he was going to die anyway as long as he was on this mountain today. After he went there, the man let out a confused scream as he tried to make sense of the slaughter here. Captain's subordinates were shocked to hear those demons who killed so many adventurers like flies before were now killed. They asked the captain what happened to this secret realm, to which he replied that the entry was blocked by a massive ice storm and there doesn't seem to be any demons around the whole place. It was hard to believe, and subordinates asked him what happened to the dungeon's boss. The captain replied that he mistakenly shattered the boss as he found it frozen inside an ice crystal which broke from just a touch. And the fact that the boss didn't drop any items means he must have been thoroughly killed. Captain's subordinates asked if that dungeon invasion was still going to happen, and the captain struggled to come up with an answer for that. Meanwhile, Ning Feng returned home and asked Darius if he was still in the training room. Ning Feng told him to come back and rest for a bit, but Darius was disappointed because he was stuck on the 45 level, and he felt he was unworthy to be Ning Feng's disciple. Ning Feng assured him it was alright to take a few days off, and humanely sent him to training to get the idea of that realm. Next week, Ning Feng told him that he'll be arranging a special devil's training for him. Darius was teared up to know Ning Feng hadn't given up on him, in which case he decided to treat him to anything for dinner tonight. Ning Feng saw Darius running away in excitement for this upcoming devil's training. After that, he decided to play some games during this break, and at the same time he received a message from Ragnar Blaze. Ragnar Blaze called him to play the game together to rank up, and Ning Feng was wondering if it was really Ragnar Blaze's account. Ragnar Blaze sent a voice message to confirm it was really him, and Ning Feng didn't expect him to be such a friendly guy. They played a game together and managed to snatch victory thanks to Old Man's great skills in the game. Ning Feng didn't expect him to be so good, and old Feng replied that he just used to play with his grandson a lot, who was currently preparing for college entrance exams. He mentioned he was the same age as Ning Feng, and Ning Feng suggested they should have a trio match sometime. Ragnar Blaze was up for it, which made Ning Feng think highly of him as he turned out to be more than just a righteous man with a high position officially. He figured if he built a good relationship with him, it would surely make things much easier for him in future. Ragnar then informed him of the Supernova training camp, where universities will select outstanding students based on their performance during the camp. They would be admitted without an exam and provided with excellent resources for development. Ragnar mentioned he had 2 spots left to refer, and asked if Ning Feng wanted to go. Ning Feng recalled thinking back that he didn't really plan to go college, but now if he needed to fight the so-called gods and demon lords, he needed more people by his side. Thus, he accepted Ragnar Blaze's offer, and old man told him that he'll save 1 more spot for Ning Feng so he could also bring an teammate he wants as well. Ning Feng thanked him for the help, whereas Ragnar was glad to do so as he found Ning Feng similar to his grandson and thought they might become good friends. The scene shifts to the next day at the Chandler City School at Ning Feng's class, where other students were talking about the universities changing their standards this year. Many students didn't like the sound of it, as they, despite being 2- or 3-star professions, won't be able to get in, just like some 1-star profession losers, referring to Ning Feng. When the class started, Teacher Kai introduced a new transfer student in their class. As the student greeted everyone, students were awestruck by the sight of such a beauty joining their class, which was none other than Aurelia Autumn. Ning Feng remembers her as the troublemaker from earlier, while other students knew her as the 4th-ranked student on the National Rising Stars list. Students were puzzled at why someone so talented transferred from a big city school to their city. Then Aurelia asked the teacher if she could sit next to Ning Feng, and she hesitantly agreed to her request. Aurelia went and took her seat beside Ning, which made him prime target for his class yet again, for snatching both beauties like Wang Yu and Aurelia like that. Ning Feng didn't get why she transferred and chose to sit next to him. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, the principal of Aurelia's previous school came to interrogate the principal Fei about what tricks he used to transfer Aurelia to his school. The reason for his anger was because Aurelia not only left, but she also took a training camp spot along with her, which will affect his school's graduation rate. Principal Fei recalled that this year there were only 4 spots for the training camp, and now there were 3 of them in his school alone. He knew the principal Logan in front wouldn't just sit idle and speak his opinions. At the same time, someone knocked on the door and Principal Fei let in the person. It was one of the teachers of the school, and he reported to Principal Fei that someone wanted to see him personally, as they couldn't reach him on the phone. Fei wonders who it could be and recalls that his phone was silent as well. To his surprise, the employee informed him the guest was actually the senior Ragnar Blaze from the Adventurers Management Bureau. Principal quickly ran there to welcome old Fen, while others were shocked to see someone who could only be seen on TV here in person. Ragnar Blaze introduced the principal to his grandson Feng Ru, and when Fei asked how he could help him, Ragnar Blaze replied that he'd like to ask for 2 things from him. Firstly, there was to transfer his grandson to his school, which came out as a big surprise to both of the principals. They recall that Feng Ru was ranked 12th on the National Rising Stars list, and his profession was a dark-type blood knight. It was said that Feng Ru didn't show his full strength at the time of testing, because he was worried of losing control of the power of darkness. Otherwise, he would easily be in the top 5. Principal Logan can't understand why Ragnar Blaze chose this school for his grandson, and moreover, everyone on the Supernova list gets a spot in training camp, so it means Fei's school gets another training spot for free. But that wasn't all, as old Feng added that he'll add 2 more training spots to this school from his side. Now Principal Logan really wanted to know just what they saw in this school, but Principal Fei kindly smirked and asked Logan to leave, since he was busy at the moment. After that, Ragnar Blaze informed the principal that he was allocating these 2 spots to Ning Feng, who just awakened recently. He doubted if Ning Feng could even attend the training camp, to which Ragnar Blaze replied it was the Bureau's arrangement, so he need not ask further. Principal Fei cooperated with it, since he knew the Bureau was responsible for supervising all the adventurers, and they hold higher authority than the Great 7 guilds. He wondered how Ning Feng got contacts with Ragnar Blaze. Meanwhile, in Ning Feng's class, he now had one weird girl on the right and a weird boy behind him. But it didn't end there, as even others ended up transferring to his school just now. He asked them the reason for it. Shuting replied she just heard of the school missing students, so she saw the spots and took the chance to remain around Boss Ning. Wang Yu was visibly in a contest with Aurelia, while Jiang Shu was getting along well with Feng Ru on the back. Aurelia realized she wasn't the only one attracted to Ning Feng, which could be troublesome for her later if she didn't work hard enough. She had also prepared a gift for him and was looking for an opportunity to give it to him. At the same time, other students were envious of Ning Feng, as they wished they could be the center of that group with so many rising stars. Ning Feng feels his surroundings becoming livelier than before, and as for Zhao Cheng matters, it seems school doesn't care about his disappearance. Meanwhile, in the Zhao family's residence, Zhao Cheng's father was sitting in depression as there still has been no news of his son yet. He contacted a powerful figure to aid in this investigation and hoped to receive some news soon. He asked about the situation at school, to which his man replied that the principal didn't wait for allocating him the training spot and gave it to someone else due to delays. Zhao's father gets it and orders his men to let him have some disturbance-free time in his son's room. He went to Zhao Cheng's room, and the whole room was so empty with all these pictures of Zhao Cheng, but not him here. Zhao's father pressed one of those pictures and opened a secret pathway, which led him to a dark place with some rocks that symbolized some demonic ritual. The scene shifts back to the class, where Feng Ru gives a purple-level item to Ning Feng. It was a skill book of water summoning magic, which Feng Ru found on one of his recent conquests. Ning Feng remembered that finding summoning skills was extremely rare, so they were quite valuable. Aurelia also took out what she brought him as a gift, which was also a skill book of battle mage skill. It was also a very rare profession, and even though he couldn't learn them yet, he will later. Ning Feng actually tried to go on leveling up in the dungeon, but for some reason, he couldn't enter it, as that secret realm required at least 5 people to open. He wasted his time by going there with lack of information, but now he was prepared with more people around him to challenge it again. He smiled and told both Feng Ru and Aurelia that he might have much to offer in return. He would still like to give them 40 bottles of high-experience potion each. Aurelia heard these items were only available to high-rank people, and to think he gifted them so casually like this, both of them were even more sure that Ning Feng was definitely worth holding on to tightly. Yu also had a gift for him, and Ning Feng asked what it was. She replied it was a newly concocted potion by Xu Wei, and he asked her to pass it to Ning. She gave him this orange-level potion, and Ning Feng seems to have a use for it in his mind. Later, he went back to home, and Darius prepared himself for the special devil's training. Ning Feng then handed over the potion from before to Darius, and he told him it was a nourishing elixir, which could heal long-standing internal injuries. He told Darius to drink it, so they could start the special training. Darius formed punches in excitement, and he quickly gulped down the nourishment potion in one go. Ning Feng asked him how he feels now, to which Darius replied he was feeling warm currents flowing through his body, dealing with all the fatigue from before. Ning Feng knew this potion was remarkable, since he himself used it after sustaining those hidden injuries from the time he got injured. Next up, he stated it was time for training now. Darius stood firm, listening to his commands, followed by an instruction to let Ning know if he felt overwhelmed during the training. When they arrived in the training room, Darius began to feel an excluding pressure around him, which happened because of Ning Feng awakening his dominating vision skill on him. He analyzed Darius's weaknesses, which informed him that Darius's injuries were currently in healing progress around lungs, reducing his strength and endurance. Ning Feng let Darius know that he'll point out his weaknesses now, after which Ning Feng started with telling him that overloading element energy skill wasn't suitable for him, as it was damaging his lungs. And secondly, his habitual combination of skills was flawed. Darius was amazed by the pinpoint insight of Ning Feng, and after this, they began the training session right away. Darius was now fighting against Ning Feng, but even though he was a 4th transformation adventurer, he still couldn't see the incoming attacks from Ning Feng and ended up receiving some hits. Ning Feng asked him if he was okay, and Darius replied he could endure more than this. Ning Feng was glad he was able to test out his dominating vision skill on those foolish demons, as it gave him an idea of how to keep its effects minimum to not harm Darius's consciousness. He was seeing results live in front of his eyes, while Darius was feeling honored, as he believed that his boss was the only one in this world who could truly make him stronger. He didn't want to disappoint Ning Feng, so Darius focused more on his attacks and resumed the training. After some time, Darius went to challenge the training room based on the Trial of Gods, where he fought against the demons. This time, Darius was performing way better than before, and he was able to accurately attack the demons with his increased agility and precise control of hitting strength. He managed to kill the demons this time around easier than before and finally crossed the level he was stuck on previously. He asked for the next level to begin, but Quan Lan and Ragnar Blaze were astonished by his growth, as he just cleared all the levels they had here based on the data. After hearing this, Darius took a deep breath and lied down to give himself some rest. His eyes got teary with happiness, because he finally cleared the training after so much blood and sweat of fighting. Ragnar Blaze found his progress far more remarkable, since he improved so much in just half a month, like a miracle. Ragnar got all fired up since he was right about keeping good relations with the mysterious big shot. Quang Lan was about to point out his fires, but Ragnar told her to never mind it, since it was already good enough for him to have survived till now. From the way he talked, Quang Lan felt like Ragnar Blaze just transferred schools of his grandson, as if he transferred his guardianship along with it. She worriedly asked the master if there was any way to mitigate the cost of dark power, but he fell silent and said they will discuss it later. For now, he was looking forward to Darius participating in the trial of gods. Next day at the Emerald Serpent Guild, Ragnar, Blaze, and Darius arrived together, and their leaders of other guilds were already present to greet Darius. Darius recalls these guys were all fifth transformation powerhouses, whom even his master couldn't get to greet him together before in the past. And now they were all greeting him here, showing that the matter of this trial must really mean a lot to them. Darius could proudly say that only his boss could remain calm in front of anyone no matter who they were. Meanwhile, Noah was thinking, why did he have to come to greet a fourth transformation adventurer like this, and just what was Ragnar Blaze up to? Also, he thought of all the other guild leaders as shameless who used his secret realm to build relations with Darius. Now they all escorted Darius to the Trial of God's entrance, and Noah asked his permission for live streaming his battle in there. Darius didn't mind it, and he also asked them to let his phone be on a video call showcasing the battle. Everyone's eyes were glued to the back of the phone, and they wondered if they could come in front of it to greet the mysterious boss. But they couldn't take the risk of angering the boss like that, as the consequences will be uncertain. Meanwhile, at Darius's home, Ning Feng was just watching the TV when he got the call and saw the battle. He could hear others' remarks that Darius was progressing through the levels really fast, and he was undoubtedly even faster than other guildmasters, making them wonder if he was really a fourth transformation guy. Darius didn't even break a sweat as he passed 30th to 40th floor to the 50th. Everyone was awestruck as Darius just surpassed Luke's record, and now Darius was up against the monsters with even more ferocious aura. However, Darius didn't even flinch, and he defeated another stronger demon, keeping the pace. After the 50th floor, Darius received an announcement that he had successfully cleared the Trial of Gods. Everyone focused on the battle without blinking, as this was a very crucial point. Darius was now seeing a bright light blessing upon him, and he'd achieved the first clear reward of this Trial of Gods. In the reward, Darius received a forbidden spell for himself. No one could have expected that the reward would actually be a forbidden spell, and since the announcement says it was the first clear reward, it means no one else could get it after this. Noah thought this reward should have been his, but since Darius was the one to clear it, he was starting to learn the forbidden spell. However, Darius failed to learn it due to his class not being perfect enough yet. The spectators wondered what it meant, whereas Ning Feng recalled something similar from the Demon Lord's memory about the classes not being optimal yet. He wondered if Darius won't get the reward then, but to their surprise, the reward got changed to a divine emblem. Darius was provided with 3 options to choose to advance his class to. First was the Martial Spirit, Sword Master, Battle Saint, and an Immortal Soldier skilled in various weapons usage. Darius decided to go with a Martial Spirit, Sword Master, which honed all of his sword skills to the peak. Once that reward was decided, Darius achieved the condensed Kai emblem of orange level. Darius consumed all the divine energy from the emblem, and once he was done, the people outside saw a strange phenomenon happening in the sky. It was like a worldwide announcement, stating that the Trial of Gods in Laurel City was cleared. People began to record the scene in the sky, and Ning Feng also saw that his mission of making a Trial of Gods power his own was completed. The Council of Guild Leaders was more focused on the part, which said their world level increased by 1. After that, Darius came out, and everyone could feel his strength was no longer around the 4th transformation level anymore. Luke believed the power system of the whole world would be overturned because of Darius's existence. Luke asked Darius if he was interested in joining his guild, and others started asking the same question. But Darius turned them all down as he doesn't plan to join any guild for now. Later at home, Darius was emotional as he gave the news to Ning Feng and said he did his best and didn't let him down this time. Ning Feng praised him and proceeded to talk about the emblem Darius got. He drew the Vanguard emblem and asked him if that divine emblem was like this. Darius agreed it looked similar in shape and pattern, but to his surprise, he didn't know how the boss knew about the emblem. Ning Feng casually replied that he also got one a long time ago and gave it to Wang Yu. Darius was impressed as the boss casually gave away even divine items, which means he was far from becoming like a boss. Meanwhile, Ning Feng was thinking if this divine emblem was condensed from divine power, it was possible that he might also have gotten the emblem because he also possesses divine power. It was one thing, and the other thing bothering him was to figure out if he was really going to face threats from all 12 of the gods.